from a rural area of globally important agricultural heritage system, which is recognized by the United Nations, Kuttanadu in Kerala state, studied in rural schools. He obtained his BTech in civil engineering from the University of Calicut in the year 1994. Later obtained his MTech in structural engineering from the University of Kerala 1996. He's got a PhD with gold medal in computational mechanics from the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, in the year 2011. Presently, he is the professor and head of the department, Division of Civil Engineering, Cochin University College of Engineering, Kuttanad, Cochin University of Science and Technology, Kochi. Formerly, he was a principal of Cochin University of Cochin University College of Engineering, Kuttanad. So he started working with CUSAT from the year 1999, and he started his teaching career from the year 1995. So he has facilitated nearly 100 invited talks, FDPs, which includes UHP introductory, UHP 2, UHP 1, seminars, conferences, talks, including plenary and keynotes, etc., in various institutions. So he has publications in both international and national journals. I would take it as my privilege in welcoming Dr. Sunilkumar N on behalf of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering of Nehru College of Engineering and Research Center. Sir, you can please take up the session. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you and namaste to all of you. Thank you so much, Kirtana ma'am, for this nice introduction.
My pleasure.
And thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mridula ma'am. Thank you, all the other management, the principal, the faculty members of the institution, and the organizing committee of this program. Let me share my slides now. You can tell me if my slides are visible and my voice is clearly audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible and it's audible.
Yeah, thank you. So I have been going through this schedule of this FTP. I could see that we had sessions on Ayurveda in health, self, body and health, then stretch, breathe, review, a relaxation session. So there are yoga sessions, medicine and technology, education and cognitive psychology, stress in academia, then Ayurveda as a preventive healthcare, digital detox, etc. There are several sessions, very nice. Anatomy and medical imaging, mindfulness techniques, etc. So, in fact, this session has been added in this particular program as a complete approach towards health, as a holistic approach towards health. So this could have been, I think right now, because when I look at the sessions, I can see that this could have been in the first 1 or 2 sessions. Anyway, better late than never. So as it is introduced, in addition to my civil engineering practice as well as teaching, I'm also a teacher of universal human values. So we conduct these universal human value workshops for the teachers, for the students in the students induction program, the other curriculum programs, etc. For the past 4.5 years, I'm doing that. And I'm part of Universal Human Values team. In our country, we have a national coordination committee for induction training under the All India Council for Technical Education. And this is being headed as well as this is being run by a group of volunteers. And these volunteers are nothing but teachers like us. So we work on a pro bono basis. The purpose is to develop ourselves, self-development, and also to help the development of the society. And in the Universal Human Values program, we discuss about the health also. So that part, whatever we discuss in this health, I thought I can present that over here to have a flavor of what is being proposed as a holistic approach to health. I would like to make this as an interactive session. So I request all the participants to be very active, rather proactive in this particular session with your responses. You can use the chat box if you are reluctant to use the mic. Anytime you can unmute your mic and ask any question. So because we have sufficient time, so my session was supposed to be from 3:30 to 5 o'clock. Now it has started earlier, so I can take, I think, more time. It will be more time for interactions also. With this pre-note, let us begin. Yeah. So I start with the definitions of health as it is available in the Oxford English Dictionary, that defines health as the state of being free from illness or injury. Now it has been changed by the WHO, the World Health Organization. They have changed, or they have modified the definition for health, like what you can see on screen right now. In 1948, they have changes to a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. If you look at our old practice of Ayurveda, it would have been discussed maybe in one of the sessions, I suppose so. Health is referred to as a state of total equilibrium. There is a state of balance among the various systems of the body, and an equilibrium of the mind and spirit. It is not just the body, but mind and spirit. A total psychosomatic equilibrium. Psycho means that's something which is referring to the mind, and somatic means, soma means body. So it is a mind and body equilibrium. That's what is being referred in this Ayurveda. Now, with this brief discussion about as we have in the literature, we go into some of the questions before we go into the discussion of health as such. Yeah. Are you able to see this first question on screen? So these are some of the questions to be answered. So I have given this heading as approach to health. Is it holistic or piecemeal? Do we address any disharmony in the body as an issue in certain part of the body and try suppressing the symptoms rather than addressing the root cause? So when we address the health issues, this is very important. For example, suppose you have fever. Fever means when we have high body temperature. So what we do when we have fever, we check the temperature, and whenever there is a high temperature, we try to suppress it out by some suppressing agents. I think somebody's mic is unmute. So if you want to speak something, you can speak. Interrupt me anytime. But otherwise, I request all of you to mute your mic during the discussion. So whenever you want to speak, you can unmute and speak immediately without any maybe preconditioning, or even you can stop me anytime in my speech. Let it be like a informal kind of a discussion. So what I was telling is that when we have, let's say, high body temperature, we try to suppress that without seeing what is the cause of that. Maybe one of the reasons why the body is increasing this temperature is, though I'm not an expert in the medical field, this is what I have heard from medical practitioners. One of the reasons is there may be some disharmony in some part of the body, and the body requires the WBC, the white blood corpuscles, to reach there, which are helping this immunity in the body and to try to repair that part of the body. And for this, an increased body temperature may be required. And also, when the body temperature is increased, you tend to put the body into a state of rest, and this also may be required. But without actually diagnosing the actual problem in the body, we tend to suppress the body temperature. So do we go for addressing the root cause, or are we suppressing the symptoms, just like bringing down this body temperature? That's one question. I mean, these questions are expected to be responded or answered by the end of the session. I just try to put for some of the proposals later. So when we discuss like that, we also need to discuss, is human being just a body or something more? I hope in the first session, which I was also an attendee, I could listen to the discussion regarding self, body, precisely what is that? Yeah, self, body, and health. That was the session. So in that, a few proposals were put forth, but we will discuss that in a bit more detail here. Is human being just a body or something more than that? When we address health, is this important? Now we have this, in addition to the body pain, in addition to the body based diseases, rather some in disharmony in the body, we also have these problems like stress, anger, anxiety, depression, etc. Is it not? Are they connected to the body directly? What do you think? Or are they connected to something else? I'm not able to see the chat box right now. I don't know how to see the chat box. Let me see. You can respond to the chat box also. Let me try to take this chat box. Yeah, meeting chat is available here, but right now I couldn't see any message. So if there is some message, you can put that in the chat box, please. So I go back to my presentation. Okay. So what question which you have asked is, are problems like stress, anger, anxiety, depression, etc. that is the body or something else? And how do we address them? Are we, when we try to get rid of this stress, anger, anxiety, etc., are we trying to put some medicine in the body, or are we also trying to do something else? Next question is, who decides for the body, including his health? Right now, I am speaking to you on this in this online platform. So who decides to speak? Is the body speaking, or am I deciding that the body has to be used to speak? Am I using the body as an instrument to speak, like I use this laptop to present and then to share the content with you? Do we need to have a piecemeal approach to health or a holistic approach? What do you think? Yeah. Anybody has a question? I heard someone is unmuting. If anybody has a question, please unmute and speak. Let it be like an informal session. So do we need to have a piecemeal approach? Piecemeal means what? Like what I said, whenever we have an ache somewhere, some pain somewhere, we address that point. We swallow a painkiller and suppress the pain. But the reason for that pain or the reason for that rise in body temperature, as we discussed just now, maybe have something else. The root cause may be something else. So do we need to address the root cause of this and go for a holistic approach to health, or do we need to just suppress the symptoms as such? That is the question. Do we need to understand who is a human being before discussion on health? Health means what? Regarding health, we may need to discuss why we need to go for this health routines, health systems, and what is the purpose of going for this health routines. And health means what, after all? As is it just like the definitions as is given in the dictionary, or in Ayurveda, or in the WHO, by the WHO? So the why, what, and how is being discussed in detail over here. I think there are many methods which are proposed. But do we also need to discuss regarding the why part and the what part? I mean, why do we require health? Which is requiring health? The body alone or something more? What means what is the purpose? And how means what is the procedure? What are the programs? It's the process of understanding. So when we try to understand something regarding anything, regarding health or anything, is it through do's and don'ts? Just like I say something, you believe it. I say something is to be done, you just do that. I say something you do not do, you do not do that. Is it just like that? Or is it through self-exploration and self-investigation on one's own right? I need to examine, I need to investigate this on my own right. When I say that health is holistic or piecemeal, approach to health is holistic or piecemeal, you can also think, everyone is thinking for sure. And you can also verify and explore whether this is right for you or not right for you. So which process is naturally acceptable to you? A process of do's and don'ts, or a process of self-exploration? Can I get some response? Can I get some response through chat box or otherwise? Yeah, I can see Sri Krishna ji is typing in the chat box. More than physical body, expressions, emotions, brain decides. These are responses to some of the questions. Very good, wonderful. Address the root cause. Sunilkumar N is typing self-exploration. Very good. So every one of us wants to explore, wants to investigate within, and wants to understand. Thank you so much. Keep on say exploring and keep on typing this in the chat box, and keep on, if you want to speak, you can unmute anytime and you can speak. So I go back to my presentation now again. So with these questions, let us try to address some of these questions in this session, the remaining part of the session. So one of the questions which I asked you is regarding the human being. Whether the human being is just the body or something more than the body. Right. So what I propose in front of you is that human being is not just the body, but self and body in coexistence. When we say body, how do we see that the body is there? Or how do we understand that the body is there? Again, through self-exploration. We may say that we can see the body with the eyes. When you look at the body, some part of the body can be seen. When you look at the mirror, you can see the image of the body. When you take a selfie with a mobile phone, you can see again the image of the body. Okay, fine. Now, when you close your eyes, so these are all something which we see with your eyes, right? But when you close your eyes, is the body there? How do we know that the body is there when you close your eyes? Can somebody respond? How do we know that the body is there when you close your eyes? I think to get this response in the chat box, I had to go back. Okay, let me. Yeah, sensory organs. Sri Kishanji, thank you. Touch. Yeah, touch is one of the sensations. Very good, thank you. Sensation. Sensation is there, is it not? So sensation is there from the body, and we read the sensation. Do we read all sensations, or do we read only some sensation? There is a pain in the body. Do we always read that sensation, or do we read some sensations only? Suppose you are watching a movie very carefully and with lot of interest. The movie is having lot of interest for you, and you don't like any other distraction. So even you won't listen to someone who is speaking from some side, right? So all eyes are towards the movie screen, and you are watching. Now, when there is some kind of a pain in the body, or even if you say the sensation of going to the urinal is there, you may not notice that. But when the interval comes, suddenly you get all these sensations, or rather you connect to, you read all these sensations. You want to go to the toilet. There is somebody talking to you some side. All these things may be caught up at that time. All these things may be read at that time. Are you able to see that? So the sensations are there from the body, but we read sensations which are of interest to us. Right now, this movie is important for me, so I watch the movie very carefully. So I see that the body is there. I understand that the body is there because of the sensations, and I read sensations. Now, who reads the sensation? When I say I see some image through the eye, let's say. I touch the body and I make an impression out of that. I listen something. Now also this sound is falling on your ears through this system, right? I listen something, I make some impression upon this sound. Impression means I make some meaning out of this. Who make out the meaning? Suppose if I talk in a different language which you cannot understand, are you able to understand? That is just like a sound for you, just like a noise for you, nothing more than that, is it not? So who interprets or who enjoys the sensation? Who makes meaning out of sensation? Who feel depressed? Who feel elated? Who feel stressed? Who feel, say, happy? Who feel unhappy? Again, I have to go back to the chat box. I'm getting a response like brain. Now, if I ask you, where is the brain? Is the brain in the body or somewhere else? Is the brain part of the body? In the body, right? The brain is there in the body. And suppose you have brain, is it hard and fast that you are able to understand everything? Like, I'm getting stressed, I'm getting depressed, I'm having this unhappiness, I'm having this anxiety, I make a meaning to the sound, etc. Now I ask this question. So when I speak in a language which is not understandable to the group or to many people, that is just like a noise for you. So we interpret that in different ways. So I put forth this proposal that I understand. So this I is being referred here as a self. So human being is a coexistence of these two realities. One is a self and the other is a body. The brain is part of the body, and the brain is the most sophisticated instrument in the body which is helping me to understand. With the help of the brain, I can understand. That is for sure. But even when, say, now the session has been in progress for a few minutes, if I ask you to reproduce something which I said for the past 15 minutes or more than that, the reproduction may be different with different human beings, right? Or it can this be same for everyone? What do you think? We are teachers when we conduct these classes, and if you ask the students to reproduce what is being taught in the class, will they reproduce, all of them reproduce whatever you have spoke to them, whatever you have discussed with them for the 1 hour, let's say for a 1 hour class? Or will there be some difference? What do you think? And this difference, if it is there, that depends upon, we say that depends upon their capacity to understand, or let's say their awareness part, all these things. Okay. So with the help of the brain, we try to understand something. And that depends upon our previous sanskar also. We come to that in detail. But who understands? Can the brain understand directly, or am I understanding it directly with the help of the brain? That question is kept open. Now, to explore regarding this self and body, the two realities which are there with a human being, I put forth the three parameters on screen. One is the need. The need of the body, if you look at, I need this food, I need water, I need air, I need clothes, I need the shelter, the house. Right now, I am sitting outside my house. But of course, in the veranda, maybe in the first floor. So I need these instruments like this laptop, this mobile phone, this watch, maybe the headset, the spectacles, etc. So these things are required. I need these physical things. When I say I need this, is the self is needing that, or the body is needing that? What is the purpose of this physical facility? That is one of the important things which we are going to discuss in this health part. When we say physical things are required, who needs these physical things? Do I need it? That is, the self needs it, or does the body needs that? So when I can see that the body needs physical facility for nurturing the body, food is required to nurture the body, for example. Clothes are required to protect the body, for example. The instruments like mobile phone or laptop, they are required to rightly utilize the body. Do we need physical facility for some other purpose? This can be kept open for discussion. But one thing I can see is that I need this physical facility only temporary in terms of time. I don't need it every time. Can we eat every time? Do we change our clothes? Do we always sit inside the home? Do we always use this mobile phone or the headset or the laptop or the other instruments, maybe the vehicle? So do we use the physical things which are there with us all the time or sometime only? If the response is sometime, that is why I put this temporary. In time, the physical facility is required for the body sometime only. Let me go back to the chat box and see if there are some messages. Yeah. I can see a message, decoding mechanism of a brain. Okay, fine. Attendance is one thing in the chat box. To satisfy short-term goals, this may be responses to my earlier questions, so I am not able to connect with the questions right now. So what do you think regarding the needs of the body? Are the needs of the body temporary, or are the needs of the body continuous? Like water, like clothes, like other instruments, are they, do we need it continuous every moment, or do we need it some moments only, sometime only? Whenever we are hungry, for example, I want food. Okay, this can be kept up for your discussion. At the same time, you can look at the needs like happiness. Do you need happiness every moment, or do you need happiness at some moments only? Do you need the feeling of respect every moment, or do you need the feeling of respect sometimes only? I need this feeling of respect right now, and in the evening, I don't need that. Is it like so? Can I get some response? You need it as per requirement. That's what Srikishji is typing. Yeah, you just explore whether at any moment in your life you need this unhappiness. You take the contrary. At any moment in your life, you need this say disrespect. At any moment in your life, do you want to have this mistrust? At any moment in your life, do you want to go for this unhealthy situation, uncomfortable situation? What is the answer to these questions? At any moment, do we want to be unhappy? Do we want to be in a state of discomfort? No, we don't want. So explore. This is self-exploration. So you can, through your exploration itself, asking questions to yourself, you can find out what is right for you and what is not right for you. I can see that as this exploration progress, that I need this happiness every moment. I need this feeling of respect every moment. That's why I will put forth this proposal as it is continuous. And now when the needs of the body are quantitative, I know how much food grains are required for me, for today, for tomorrow, for the entire month, and how much food grains are required for the entire family. I can quantify this. I can quantify how many pairs of clothes are required to see through all these seasons to protect the body. I know I can find out how many laptops are required. I can find out how many mobile phones are required. I can find out how many other instruments are required for me for rightly utilizing the body. So all these physical things are quantitative for me. Whereas I cannot quantify how much happiness is required. Can I? I cannot say 1 kilogram of happiness is required right now, and tomorrow I may require 1 liter of happiness or 1 liter of respect. Can I say like that? So I put forth this proposal before you for your exploration through these examples, that the needs of the body are quantitative, they are required in limited quantity, and the needs of the self are required in their qualitative. I require this every moment, so that is continuous, as well as I cannot measure them in terms of any unit. They're there or not there, they're qualitative. Happiness is there or happiness is not there. Respect is there or respect is not there, just like that. And when we try to fulfill the needs of the body and the self, as we said, we require the physical facility to fulfill the needs of the body. We need this physiochemical things to fulfill the needs of the body. The food is a physiochemical entity, physical and chemical entity. Clothes are physical and chemical entity, or physical and chemical things. The instruments are also made of this physical and chemical elements. So I fulfill the needs of the body through this physiochemical things. Whereas to fulfill the need of happiness, that is fulfill the need of self, I need to have this right understanding regarding what is the meaning of happiness, and what is the meaning of this feeling of respect, and what are the right feelings. So I need to understand right things rightly, and I need to see the feelings rightly. So that's why I put forth right understanding and right feeling are essential to fulfill the needs of the self. That is one parameter. So need of the self and the body are distinct. Are you able to see that? We need to fulfill both the types of needs. Now, when it comes to the activities, the next thing, suppose if there are some questions you can ask me immediately. So I'm just going to the next parameters because I'm not getting any questions so far. So the activities, if you look at the activities of the body, now right now you are listening to the content, right? How long can you do that? Can you do that for the entire day, 24 hours? The sessions are also having some time limitation, like 1.5 hours or 2 hours maximum, not more than that. When if it is 2 sessions clubbed together, 3 hours or not more than that. More than that, there are breaks in between, gaps in between. You take other activities like eating or walking, which you perform with the body. How long can you use the body continuously or at a stretch? Is there a time limit? If you can see that, we can use the body within a time limit only, that is eating or walking or listening or reading or say speaking, whatever be the action, or walk, I mean running, whatever be the action, we can use the body within a limited time, not more than that. Now, if you look at the activities in the self, I'm thinking, can you stop the thoughts at any moment? Can we stop these thoughts when we are sleeping? During the time of sleeping, are we thinking or not? What do you think? Yeah, I'm getting responses, but I'm not able to see the chat message. Anyway, thank you. We can respond to the chat box. I can see your responses right now. Are we able to stop the thoughts? That's the question. Thoughts can be always be there. Sri Krishnji, thank you. So sometimes this comes to as evident for us when we sleep. We see some dreams, right? And we recognize maybe some of the dreams, not all the dreams. Now, if you try to recollect whatever we are thinking for the past 10 minutes, can we recollect them? Unless we write down, we may forget. So some kind of thoughts are passing by the self every moment. We may not be able to be aware of those thoughts. Something or the other. We may jump from one thought to the other. We may jump. So when this session is going to finish, this may be the thought. Sometimes, or no. So something is say around me. So I may be looking into that. There is a water bottle over there. There is a book over there. There is a mobile over there. So my attention may go to that mobile immediately when some message peeps in. So my thoughts are just jumping from one to the other. My imagination goes from one point to the other point. Is it not? So even when I'm sleeping, I'm active. I'm thinking, but the body is taking rest. But even at that time, this thoughts are going on. So every moment, some kind of thought is going on. So my activities are continuous in time. That's what I say. But the activity of the body are temporary in time. Samayik. That's in Hindi. So the activities of the self and the body are distinct. My activities are continuous, or activity of the self are continuous, and the activity in the body or with the body, they are temporary in time. Any questions so far? Or anything which you want to add to this? Okay, we will go forward. And anytime, if you want to ask a question, you can prevent me. You can rather stop me and ask the question. I repeat that. But I request you to self-explore. Don't believe whatever I'm telling. Don't believe whatever you're listening. But you explore within yourself and see if it is right for you or not right for you. You can refer to your natural experience for that purpose. So whatever we propose are supposed to be universal, following all these guidelines. Universal, rational. You can find logical reasoning for this. Then verifiable and natural, you can verify within with your own right. Natural means you can verify with your natural acceptance. Natural also means that you will be in harmony with that. You will be natural with that, and it contains everything. It is all encompassing, contains all levels of human being, and it is leading to harmony. So unless these proposals are leading towards or following these guidelines, we cannot say these are some right proposals. Universal, rational, verifiable and natural, all encompassing, and leading to harmony. 5 say guidelines. Now, the needs of the body and self are distinct. Needs of the body are temporary, that is, the self is continuous. The activities of the self and the body are distinct. The activity of the body are temporary, and the activities in the self is continuous. We cannot stop the thoughts for any moment. When it comes to responses, when hot water is falling onto your body, the body has no other choice than respond to that fulfillment. So the water is very hot, that part of the skin may get burned. Is it not? So recognizing that the water is hot and burning happening in the body is a fulfillment of the response of the recognition. The body has no choice. If somebody injects a needle into the body, maybe by a nurse or a doctor, because the needle is very sharp and harder than the body, it will pierce through the body, through the skin. Right. So this is recognition and fulfillment, like any other material, iron getting rusted, for example, hydrogen, oxygen combined together to form water at certain temperature and pressure. These are all examples like recognition and fulfillment. There is no choice. So body is like any other material, so it recognizes and fulfill. There is no choice for the body. Whereas I have choice. I can decide when this hot water is coming into contact with my body. I understand that, or I knew that this hot water is going to burn my skin. I can keep away my body part from this contact with the hot water. So I have these assumptions or acceptances that the hot water is going to do some damage to the body. So I can accordingly I can recognize that the water is hot and I can fulfill by keeping the body part away. And sometimes my assumptions can be guided by knowing, by understanding, and sometimes it may not be. So I may assume that the water is hot, and accordingly I recognize and fulfill. So the water may not be that much hot sometimes, or the water may be very hot. So this I may not be able to know. Now, when it comes with regard to the feeling part, suppose one of your friends is telling regarding another friend of you that the friend is very bad, he is behaving very badly. Now, if you believe the first person regarding what he said regarding the second person blindly without verification, then you recognize and fulfill accordingly. That is, you may think your second friend is just like that, and you may not be talking to him for some time. So this may be your fulfillment part, but I didn't verify that. I always have this possibility for verification with the friend, that whether the friend is good, whether the friend is having this problem or not. So I can always have this opportunity for knowing. I can refer with my natural acceptance whether my friend is having this problem or not, directly or otherwise. So when my assumptions are guided by knowing, my recognition and fulfillment will also be definite. But till then, as my assumptions keep on changing with whatever information I'm having, when my assumptions or acceptance keep on changing, my recognition and fulfillment will be changing. So the response of the body and the self are like that. The body is a material, the body has only recognition and fulfillment, but I have this choice based on my acceptances, and accordingly, my recognition and fulfillment change. So I am the consciousness and the body is a material. So a human being is self and body in coexistence. And with this understanding that the human being is not just the body, but there is somebody who is making decision in the body, somebody is who is understanding with the body, somebody who is enjoying the decision, somebody who is doing things with the body, is associated with the body. With this knowledge or with this understanding, we can move forward. Any questions till now? I spent some time upon this, maybe like more than half an hour for this. particular part, because that is very important. So can we move forward? Can I get some response? Can we go forward? Can I get some response to the discussion of health directly? What is the meaning of health? What is the role of I towards health? And do we need to go for a holistic approach or not? These things have to be discussed in detail. So with this understanding of the human being, not just the body, but self and body in coexistence, now let us move forward. Any response from your side? Anything you want to say, or any questions from your side? Okay, take it for granted that you are listening and there are no questions. Let's just move forward from this. So what I proposed is, I won't say even I said this as something which is confirmed. So you can take it as a proposal that the human being is self and body in coexistence. But you can explore within and verify on your own right whether you are just the body or self and body in coexistence. And when you say self, you can say the self is the one who understands, the one who does the thing, one who takes a decision and does the thing with the body, whatever activity you want to do with the body, and the one who enjoys the result of this decision, the one who enjoys the outcome of this doing part. Now, there is information passage between this consciousness and material. The consciousness means self, material means the body. So as we discussed in the beginning, the body offers sensation to the consciousness, and it is my choice to read the sensation. And I add one more thing, that in this information, the passage of information, there is no material transaction. I read the sensation from the body and I instruct the body to do something. Right now, I read this slide with my eyes and I instruct the body to speak this out to you, let's say. This happens. So my needs are happiness, prosperity, and continuity. And the needs and activities are continuous in time in me. Every time I have this want for happiness. Every time I have this one for prosperity. But in the material or the body needs physical facility, and it is not needed every time, but whenever the body requires the physical thing, it is required. So what is my responsibility towards the body? My responsibility towards the body is for nurturing, protecting, and rightly utilizing the body. And this responsibility is what is referred to as samyam or self-regulation. When I have the responsibility towards the body to nurture, protect, and rightly utilize the body, the outcome is health. And now I put forth this proposal for health. Health means body acts according to I. When I want the body to speak, the body is able to speak. When I want the body to jump, the body is able to jump. When I want the body to do some physical activities, the body is able to do the physical activity. When I want the body to read something, the body should help me to read. Likewise, so whatever activity I want the body to do, with the limits of the body for sure, the body is able to do that. And parts of the body are in harmony. So if there is any disharmony in the body, that will be depicted out in the form of sensation, maybe of the form of pain, for example, in the form of some disharmony in the body, maybe rising temperature, as we discussed in the beginning. But if I am not getting sensation of any disharmony from the body, like there is no pain, there is no kind of fever or any other thing, the body is in health. So this is health for me, and health is the responsibility of me. I am expected to ensure this health in the body. So it's my responsibility to nurture, protect, and that we utilize the body so that there is health in the body. I take this decision for the body also. That's why I propose I am central, or the self is central to human existence, not the body. I use the body as my instrument. Any questions regarding this or sharing? So self-regulation is the feeling in the self of responsibility towards the body for nurturing, protecting, and rightly utilizing the body to ensure health in the body. Health means body acts according to I and parts of the body are in harmony. So the body is an instrument of me and I am central to the human existence. Now, when I have to self-regulate, what is required? To nurture the body, I require food. To protect the body, I require clothes. I require shelter, house, for example. To rightly utilize the body, I require instruments like vehicle, like pen, like laptop, etc. Right now, you are sitting at different parts of the country or maybe different parts of the world too, and you are listening to this content through these instruments. Internet is there, laptop may be there, mobile phone may be there, or some other. So physical facility is required to fulfill the responsibility of the self towards the body, to keep the body in good health, for nurturing, protecting, and rightly utilizing the body. And are you able to identify the required physical facility? Like we discussed in the previous, say, the self and body, that table. Are we able to identify how much physical facility is required for us? For example, are we able to identify how much food grains are required for us? Are we able to identify how much water is required for us to keep the body healthy? Are we able to identify how many pairs of clothes are required for us? Are we able to identify how many laptops are required, how many houses are required, and so on and so forth, whatever you use? That's one thing. You can also take this as an exercise that you check around in your house, or whenever you go to a shopping mall, you check in the shopping mall that how many of these physical things you see around are falling under the category of nurturing, protection, and right utilization of the body. How many of the physical things which you see around are falling into the category of nurturing the body, protecting the body, and rightly utilizing the body? If you see something other than that, then what is the purpose of this physical facility? You can have a look at that. I can give you a very simple example. See, um, I read this as an article in the WhatsApp only. In a couple of years before, um, there was a young boy who was a footballer who likes to play football. By the age of 17, he succumbed to liver cirrhosis. Very unfortunate. Very At a very young age, he started playing football, and by the age of 17, he died because of liver cirrhosis. And when he was diagnosed, the doctors could diagnose him as this is not alcoholic liver cirrhosis, but it is other than that. Now, what is the real reason for this liver cirrhosis? When they examined, they could see that he used to drink this colored and sweet water during the time of his playing football. Now, this colored and sweet water, damaged his liver drastically. When you are playing football, maybe for 90 minutes or during the practice sessions, you have to consume more and more water. And this boy was consuming this colored sweet water, and that consumed his his body completely, or his liver, and the liver underwent this liver cirrhosis. Ultimately, the boy could not get survived. There were some damaging substances to the body in this colored sweet drinks. You can also see around when you go to a shopping mall, there are plenty of kind of chemical added soft drinks are available. I mean, it is our choice or it is our responsibility to check whether they're healthy or not. So, in the name of, say, nurturing the body itself, we can see some packets like that. Are they really healthy? Are they really ensuring the health of the body? Are they really nurturing the body? Or are they only for taste? When you have these two choices, taste and nurturing the body, which one is your preference? Is taste your preference or nurturing your preference? I just keep it open for you. So we take food because it is tasty. That's one thing. But what is the purpose when it runs through this larynx, this part, or when it is losing its touch with the tongue? Will taste be there? But the food is there in the body, and the food is to be digested. Now, if the food is to be digested in the body, then it has to be digested without harming the body. If there are some harmful substances in the body, we say there is food poisoning. Right. So it is our choice to verify whether the food item is nurturing the body or harming the body. And sometimes, say we call this kind of junk food. Junk food may be harming the body also, but it is our responsibility to verify that. Right. So I was just giving this example to give you a glimpse that when you look around, there may be many physical facilities which will be scattered, and many of them may not be falling into the category of nurturing, protection, or right utilization of the body. Maybe there are for some other purpose. But you see, what is the purpose of those physical things? I keep it open for you. Right now the discussion is confined to self-regulation. It is my responsibility to nurture the body, protect the body, and rightly utilize the body, leading the body towards health. Body acts according to I, and parts of the body are in harmony. And for that, I require a physical facility, and the required physical facility can be identified. I can identify the physical facility along with the required quantity. I can identify the quantity of food. Is it limited or unlimited? What do you think? The food which you require. What do you think? The food which you require is limited or unlimited? I'm not getting any message in the chat box right now after 3:54 p.m. Limited. Thank you. Sri Krishnji, thank you so much. You are putting so many messages. Thank you so much. Let others also put their message, please. Do we require this food? It may be looking very simple kind of question, but it is very important. Do we require this food limited in quantity? Do we require this water limited or unlimited? Do we require this clothes limited or unlimited? So at this juncture, if I ask you this question, do you know how many pairs of clothes you have? Limited, right? Do you know how many pairs of clothes you have? Yes or no only? No, I don't want this number. Can you say this qualitatively? I know how many pairs of clothes, exactly the number of pairs of clothes, or I don't know. The question is, do you know how many pairs of clothes you have? And what is the purpose of this clothes? Is it to show someone that you are something and seek respect from other people? Or is it to protect the body? What is the purpose? And how many pairs of clothes are required? And how many pairs of clothes you have? Okay, I keep it open. You can explore, and please, whenever you can find an answer, you can send the message to me. So what I propose here is the quantity of food which is required to nurture the body is limited. The quantity of clothes, shelter which are required to protect the body, are they limited or unlimited? That is what I was asking. Do you know how many pairs of clothes you have? And do you know how many pairs of clothes do you require? Are they same, or the first one is more than the second one, or the reverse, or the vice versa? Second one is more than the first one. Is the requirement more than the what you have, or the what you have is more than the requirement? Similarly, the number of instruments, equipments with you for right utilization of the body, are they limited or unlimited? How many laptops are required? How many mobile phones are required? How many pens are required? Are they limited or unlimited? So when you explore, as you have put in the chat box, we can see that the quantity of food, clothes, shelter, instruments, etc. are required in a limited quantity. So you can identify the amount of physical facility, and the physical facility is required to keep the body in good health, so that right utilization of the body can be ensured. Physical facility is required only for nurturing, protection, and right utilization of the body. And if you find any other physical facility, just think of what is the purpose of this. how does it help me in doing some activities or some other way? You can just check it. You see any other physical thing or chemical thing. If you can see that the physical facility is for nurturing, protection, and right utilization of the body is required in a limited quantity, then we can understand the meaning of prosperity. So we said that in the beginning that the needs of the self are happiness and prosperity in continuity, because the contrary is not true for me. I don't want unhappiness. I don't want deprivation. I want to be happy. I want to be prosperous all the time. Any moment, I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to be not prosperous or deprived. Right. So, what is the meaning of prosperity? What do you think? What is the meaning of prosperity for you? Is this prosperity for you? The feeling in the self of having or producing more than required physical facility. That is prosperity for me. When I say the feeling of having or producing more than required physical facility, the requirement part is underlined over there. You can see, and that is number one, most important. So, with my understanding, right understanding, how much food grains are required, how much other physical things like clothes or shelter are required, etc., I can find out my requirement, how much is required. And I can also produce or have more than required physical facility with my right skills. I'm earning these skills through as part of my education. I'm practicing, so I'm doing work outside in the nature to produce or have physical facility. So identification of the required physical facility is very important with right understanding, including the required quantity, and ensuring availability or production of more than required physical facility with right skills. These two things are very important. Are you able to see that? But then why do we require more than required physical things? You can ask these three questions. One is, are you able to identify the requirement of physical facility to ensure health in the body? Are you able to ensure the availability or production of the physical facility with the right skills? Are you applying the skills rightly? Are you applying the right skills, and are you applying the skills rightly? You can go for fair means and unfair means also, right? There are people who are going for corruption to produce physical things, to produce wealth. Well, without knowing how much do they require. So number one, identification is very important. And number two, ensuring availability or production of more than required is also important. Now, why do we require more than required physical facility in prosperity? When I have more than required physical facility, I can share whatever is excess with me with people who are deprived. I think of when I have more than required physical things, I think of right utilization of the physical facility and nurture not just me, but the other also. That's what we do. Whenever a guest is coming to our home, what do? We share the food. Whatever we have at home, we share that with the guest. Is it not? Usually in our homes, we prepare something more than we require. Maybe in the afternoon, we prepare more quantity of lunch than we require. And if somebody comes in home, we expect that somebody may be coming in the afternoon. But if nobody is coming, then what do? We consume this food in the night. We don't waste the food just like that. So we produce more than what is required for the purpose of sharing. And the sharing is with a feeling of relationship. It is not for any kind of obsession, not for any kind of profit, not for any kind of indulgence, not with any kind of ill feeling, but or not with any kind of feeling that I'm going to get something back later. With a feeling of relationship, I can share this excess physical thing with the other. So this is what is prosperity for me. A prosperous person thinks of right utilization and nurturing the other, but a deprived person always thinks of accumulating and exploiting the other. Is this prosperity for you or something else prosperity for you? When we discuss regarding health, prosperity is very important, because I need to know how much is required to ensure the health in the body. And for ensuring the health in the body, I need to have this nurturing part, protection part, and right utilization part. And that is what is happening even in hospitals also, right? But I can ensure the nurturing part myself to a great extent. We are going to see the program for health also in sooner than later in this session. But it is important to see this self-regulation part first of all. Am I able to see how much is required for nurturing, protection, and right utilization of the body? And when I set the requirement part with my right understanding, am I also able to produce or have physical facility with right skills applied rightly? I'm also able to produce. I can see that I'm also able to produce or have more than what is required. And with this more than required, am I able to share with other human beings with a feeling of relationship? Are we doing that? I can give you a couple of examples, but because of time constraint, I will postpone those examples later. But if there are some examples from your side, if there are some questions or sharing from your side, it is welcome anytime. You don't need to wait for the end of the session. We can do it anytime. So what I put forth is prosperity is a feeling of having and producing more than required physical facility. If I am prosperous, I think of right utilization of what I have right now, and I nurture the other also. Share this with the other. This is prosperity for me. And when I have this gross misunderstanding that I'm just the body, I'm not anything else. I'm not able to see the consciousness, but I'm just the body. Then I may think that this respect can be earned with physical facility, with the food I eat, with my vehicle, with my house. Maybe I can make a bungalow and earn respect. This may be what I can think. With my clothes, with my ornamental clothes, I try to extract this respect from people outside. So then I think that this physical facility is required unlimited because I'm having this continuous need of happiness and I'm trying to derive this happiness through this physical facility, physical things, food, clothes, shelter, or any other instruments, etc. I tend to show that my mobile is the most modern kind of variety. So through showing this mobile, I want to have this respect from people outside. There may be immediate attention by people outside, right? But is it continuous? What do you think? Is it really a feeling of respect or a feeling of jealousy? Now, when I have this particular exploration that the self is equal to body and respect, I can earn these feelings from through physical facilities. I may accumulate physical facility unlimited, more and more, and this may result in deprivation because I think I don't have enough. I don't know how much I can use. I have this deprivation. This may lead to I going into this loop. Which loop? I have always this feeling of deprivation. I don't have enough. I make effort for physical facility by unfair means too. We can see that people who are so-called well-educated are also falling into this unfair means to produce physical things, to produce money, or to get money. Is it not? You can check whether you are falling into this loop. Are you into this loop, or are you able to identify the need of physical facility? Are you able to produce the required physical facility with the right means, right skills? Are you able to see that you are prosperous? Or it is just a check for all of us. We can have a look at this and see whether we are falling into this loop or not. Any questions? Are you listening to this discussion? I mean, can you put that in the chat box? How many of you are listening? Let me see that. Can you, all of you, put yes, I am listening, or something like this, some message? Just yes. Or you put Y only in the chat box that I am listening, just to see that you are listening. Yeah, yes, thank you. I could see that I have many other messages, so I couldn't read many of them. Yeah, yes, thank you so much. Professor Asad sir, Anto Francis ji, Sapan ji, Sapan Banerjee ji, Navida ji. I can see your messages. Thank you so much. Very nice. Sri Krishna ji has put a message earlier that 3 to 6 pairs of more than sufficient is there regarding clothes only. Okay, nice. Yeah, I have more messages. Sri Krishna ji, Muhammad K, MG, Mayasri ji, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Junaid ji, thank you. Thank you. So we can all of us can check whether we are falling into this loop. Are we considering a human being is just the body, and I can fetch this respect or the feeling of happiness through having more physical facility? And are we going towards this unfair means for producing this physical facility and falling into this loop of deprivation? Everyone can check that. That's why I call this as gross misunderstanding one. Another thing which you can see is that as per the data which is available, maybe it is available many years before only. Now, if currently, if you look at this data, the result may be much more thought-provoking or maybe detrimental. So, of the 4.2 billion tons of food produced, more than 1 billion tons of food is lost or wasted every year. That is the UN-backed reports. That is in 2011 or so. Yeah. So now the report may be much worse than this, the number. So about a third of all the food produced for human consumption each year, roughly 1.3 billion tons, is lost or wasted, according to a study at that time commissioned by the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO. So what I am trying to say is that global food production is 6 times the requirement, and the global food wastage is 1/3 that of production, and the wastage is enough to feed 1,300 crore people per year, and this number is close to not just 2 times, but little less than 2 times the entire population in the world, is it not? But even now, we can see there are many people who are starving. Even in our country, we see that at least 25 to 30% people are starving. Starving in the sense that they do not have access to food at least once in a day. Why is it happening? If you look at the food production that is required in the country, and if you look at what is being produced, when what we produce is more than 2 times what we require in the country. But on a global sense, what you can see is a 6 times requirement is there, is what is being produced, and the wastage is sufficient to feed more than 1,300 crore people per year. Now, when we tend to waste food next time, let this slide comes in front of us. So, what do you think? How we understand the human needs? How we understood right utilization of this physical facility, the food? Is it a question of production? We produce, is it not? Or is it a question of distribution? What do you think? Is it a question of relationship? With a feeling of relationship, I will share whatever is excess with me. Is it a question of right understanding? If I have this understanding that whatever I require is only this much, my body requires this much, I won't take more than what is required for sure for my body. And whatever food I produce more than the requirement of the family, I share this with people outside. Or if I do not have this access to sharing this with people outside, I will produce that much. I produce only limited food, so that I won't even waste a grain of food. So this can be ensured through right education sanskar. That's why I asked a final question: is it a question of right education sanskar? What do you think? Which among them is true? Is it a question of production? Yes or no? Do we produce sufficient or more than sufficient? Yeah, you can respond to the chat box. I go to the chat box only occasionally. I can see Sri Kishanji's response earlier. Most fall in this loop, right utilization. Okay, thank you. Now Nikita ji is typing. No. Sri Kishanji is typing. Education sanskar is also true. Thank you. So we produce more than what is required, but distribution is not fair, I would say. Relationship, is it there with every human being? Can I see that? Am I able to see that every human being is my relative, not just my people in the family, not just the people who are very close to me, but even everyone else? Whenever I see an accident somewhere, do I tend to help? For example, whenever I see somebody who is starving or somebody who is, let's say, begging, do we offer money to that beggar or do we offer something which is eatable to that beggar? The so-called, I would say. I mean, I can share you with some of the experiences, but right now, I have to go a little bit faster to see through the content, particularly the program for health. That's very important in this. So if you share some physical things, then the money is just a means of exchange. If you share some physical facility, the other person can use the physical facility for the physical needs, nurturing part or protection part or activation part of the body, not more than that. And he also can share back, that's fine. But if you offer money to that person, there is every possibility that he or she may use that for some other purpose. Right. I will give just one example before I go forward. So what happened when I went out of this grocery shop after my purchase? A person knocked on the door of my car. I was just inside the car and about to close the door. So he knocked on the glass. I lowered the glass and saw a person who is having the age of 35 or 40 is standing outside. And he was a bit disturbed. I could see that. I asked him, what do you want? He said, sir, can you help me to purchase a medicine? I said, yes. Then he said, sir, I'm a patient. I'm a mental patient. That's what he said. I need rupees 700 to purchase this medicine. But right now, I have only rupees 200. Can you help me to have this rupees 500? Can you give me rupees 500? That is the question. I paused for a while and thought, I have to verify whether whatever he is telling is right or not. So I asked him, can you give me the doctor's prescription? I will purchase a medicine for you. Even you not paying anything, I know the medical shop nearby. I will go and purchase, or you can come with me. We can purchase and you can have it. No issues. He said, I didn't bring this doctor's prescription. I said, that's fine. It will be the name of the medicine at least. You can go and purchase. Then he said, sir, please give me the money. I will go and purchase it. I said, no, I'm going to help you. You don't even need to pay anything. I will purchase a medicine for you and I will give it to you. Then he said, after a few iterations, he said, no, sir, thank you. So he went away. So the verification part is also very important, that what is the purpose of this money? Money can be used for any purpose. He can go for drinks, he can go for maybe drugs or many things. So distribution, relationship, right understanding, and education sanskar. We can work upon all this. Can we? Now we go into the program for self-regulation and health. So far what we have discussed is regarding what is the purpose, what is the meaning of health, and what is my responsibility towards my health. But when I say my health, just my health is sufficient, or the health of the family is also required, health of the society is also required, the health of uh, the nature is also required? What do you think? When you say health, health is not just that of a human being, or is it a holistic health? Holistic in the sense every unit in the nature is involved, or every levels of a human being is also involved. And for that, what is my program? What is your program for health? Now we have discussed about several programs already, is it not? I have this habit of drinking hot water, rather warm water, not very hot, in between my talks also, in between my discussions. That is part of my health program. So this is now it is past 4 o'clock. So this time we feel like thirsty. Do we? So this also is part of the discussion here. Let us see what are the programs for health, self-regulation, and health. So this is what we discussed, right? I have this need of happiness, the right feelings, and the body has a need of physical facility. And I have the responsibility for ensuring health in the body through self-regulation, feeling of responsibility towards the body for nurturing, protection, and right utilization. Now, if you look at the body is an orderly system. There are trillions of cells in the body. It has a definite conduct, and there is no inherent issues in the body when the body is born. As the body grows, there can be some issues because of external influences. Inherently, normally, or I say maybe like a very large percentage of human bodies may not be having any kind of inherent problems, but there can be exceptions. And even when there are these cells are generating, degenerating, there is no issues between the cells. No cells says that no, I don't have sufficient space to sit over here. You move away. Nothing. There is no ego between any two cells. So every cell is in harmony. There are many organs in the body. There are many systems in the body. We have listened to the anatomy lecture yesterday, or yeah, I think it was yesterday. Very wonderful lecture in that where there are many organs are being depicted by how been described by the doctor. So we could see that how this system is in harmony by itself. We have to study that, understand that. The cells in the body work together in harmony with each other, participate in the larger order to form tissues, organs, and organ systems. With a feeling of responsibility towards the body, I naturally ensure the continuity of harmony in the body, or at least do not disturb that. Now, what do I do? How do I choose my food? How do I choose what do I drink? How do I choose which instruments do I use to utilize the body? Am I using the body or abusing the body? These are all my choices for having this taste. I may take some items, maybe food items, solid or water, which may be detrimental or harming the body. This may happen. But health of the body is a natural outcome of the feeling of self regulation. If I have the feeling of self regulation and if I execute that naturally, the health will be very natural. That's what I can say. So, before we go to the program of health, let us have a discussion upon the present stage. If you look at that circle over there, you can see three different colors, is it not? That circle reflects my imagination. All right. So in my imagination, the imagination may be motivated by preconditioning. Somebody says something. There are some norms in the society. There are some norms in the house, or something which is said to be true. I just believe that without any verification. These are all my preconditioning. I may be conditioned. So the a child may be like very innocent, right? But we are conditioning the child through several things in the several sayings in the family, several sayings in the school, in society, etc. So many times the child may not verify what is right or what is wrong. So it will accept what is there as such. It will imitate in the beginning. It will follow whoever there is in the family. So I may be having this preconditioning. So preconditioning may be getting my imagination to an extent. So in the diagram, what is shown is a large part of my imagination is guided by this preconditioning. This may differ from person to person. Now, from the remaining part, say the black portion, if you can see there, sensation. So I have this information through my five senses. So with these five senses, I get information which I do not verify, and this may lead my imagination, but I may also verify something. So this yellow part is referring to the verification. I can refer whatever input is coming to me through conditioning or sensation, but I verify whether it is, for example, in the case of health, nurturing the body, protecting the body, or rightly utilizing the body, whatever physical things I am consuming, whether it is falling into these three categories. So that is falling into my natural acceptance. Now, when we take food, which one is leading us? For example, when I go to a restaurant with my friends, I may select food for show off, to show the others that I am also eating this, to get attention of others. I may not be used to that kind of a food. I'm not taking any examples here, but just you can connect with whatever you are doing or whatever you have experienced earlier. So, do we choose food for this just for show off, to get attention or attraction by others? Or do we take food for taste alone, the sensation part? Or do we consume food with a feeling of self regulation, that is, selecting food for nourishment? What is our choice? Open to us. We can have a discussion regarding this. How do we choose our food? I mean, this is only the case of food, but you can extend this to any physical facility. How do we choose our clothes? How do we choose our vehicle? What is the purpose of a vehicle? Is it to transport the body from one point to the other, or is it just to show off somebody else that I have this most modern kind of a vehicle? What is, how do I choose my instruments? Say mobile phone, most modern. So there are people who are changing their mobile phones every 6 months, or maybe every 2 months. Sometimes this may happen. So how do I choose my instruments? How do I choose my laptop? How do I choose my other maybe spectacles? It is available for maybe very costly things are also available. So how do I choose my physical things? Right. So this is open for discussion. Now I propose the program for self-regulation. Yeah, something is not readable over there. So what I can do is I can take this slide from another presentation. Please bear with me for maybe for a few seconds, because I want to show that 1 and 1, 2 also along with this number 3. Open that. Only for that particular slide. Do we have any questions anytime? Are we ready to share these questions? Are we ready to share any other insights into this discussion? Yeah, so I will stop sharing and then share again. That's better. I will stop share this one. Go back to this Teams meeting. Share again. Share a window. Okay, this one. Now, are you able to see this slide where this number 1 and number 2 are visible? Are you able to see that? Can I get some response?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Right. So this is what I try to put before you as my program for health. So the first box which you can see over there is for staying healthy, intake and routine. Whatever I put inside the body is intake. It just not include this air, water, sunlight, food alone, but whatever I see, whatever I touch, whatever I feel, rather through my touch, whatever sound I listen to, whatever information which I get from the 5 senses, sound, touch, form, taste, smell, all these are my input. So I can have a focus upon this intake, whatever I intake. Is this intake healthy for me or not healthy for me? Routine, lifestyle. We will come to that in detail, maybe in the coming slides. When do you get up? When do you go for breakfast? When do you take your lunch? When do you go for your dinner? When do you take water? When do you go to bed? What is this in line with the circadian cycle, or do we work during night time and sleep during daytime? What is it? What is our lifestyle? When I conducted one of these workshops in one of these universities, I got a remark that one professor from, rather one associate professor from this Department of Computer Science was telling to me that, sir, I was working in this for 15 years. You see, for all this time, I had to work with the time of the company, and day and night. Maybe when the company is working in the other country, that is there for them, but I have to work during their time. So I was having all the kind of this so-called lifestyle diseases. I had cholesterol, I had this blood pressure, I had this sugar, and so I have accumulated all these kind of lifestyle diseases. So I quit that job because of that. Now I opted for this teaching profession. Now at least I can work during daytime and sleep during nighttime. That is there. Just a sharing with one of the faculty members, I'm telling. So can we have a focus upon this intake and routine? And number two is labor and exercise. The meaning of the difference of labor and exercise, both are required to for this muscle movement. The body requires muscle movement. So labor is equivalent to producing some physical facilities. For example, you can work with the vegetable garden in the house and produce physical facility, that's the vegetables. Or you can clean the room, for example. So cleaning the room is equivalent to producing physical facilities. Right, arranging the room rightly. These are all kind of things which you can take as examples. If you cannot do that, go for doing this exercise, walking, jogging, at least for half an hour or 1 hour a day. Now, right now we have this yoga practice. Very good for the body, and it is refreshing for the self also. I also will be relaxed because of this. So labor and exercise are required. The third thing is postures for regulating internal and external body organs and regular breathing. How are you sitting? How are you standing? How are you laying down? Is the posture good for working of your the internal organs and external organs? And are you able to breathe very naturally with your postures? Is it possible? You can right now also you can look into how are you sitting? Are you sitting in an awkward position? So whenever you are sitting, you can verify whether this is comfortable for you or not comfortable for you. Comfortable for you means comfortable for the body also. That's what I'm telling. Yeah, we may be tending to sit in some fashion, but is it comfortable for the body? Whether the body is able to do its work internally, externally with your posture, verify that. That's why that yoga practitioner, the madam, she was sitting on the floor, on the maybe on the mattress or otherwise, and trying to help us practice this yoga. Wonderful session, I would say. So we can verify what is our posture, whether it is helping our body or not. So this is something which we can do consistently. Can we? Regular intake, routine, labor exercise, both or one of them. People who are working in the kitchen, I mean, they may be walking quite a long distance for sure, and they may be doing a lot of exercise even otherwise. Whereas muscle movement is automatically. Now there are many options for us when we go to the institution. So if possible, we can walk to some distance. When you, if it is a multi-story building, you can climb up the stairs than using the lift. If you do that at least 2-3 times in a day, that may be sufficient for your body. If you cannot get time in the morning or in the evening, this also is good for you. There is no regular time for this exercise. You can do this anytime, I would say. The body requires muscle movement. But when you do this exercise, it is always good to have less food in the stomach. Right. Okay. That's why we do it in the early morning or we do it in the evening. We can do it whenever we have to climb up the stairs. You can use the staircase than the lift. There are many methods. So methods are there with us. I mean, it can be improvised. You can improvise upon the methods also, or you can be innovative in the methods. But this is something which I propose for staying healthy. Now, second thing is for bringing the body back to harmony from temporary disharmony, medicine. Medicine can be homemade medicines or it can be hospital medicines also. So this also may be required sometimes. And C is dependence on drug or machine to perform a body function. That is what we refer to as treatment. So we have a little bit more elaboration upon this in the coming slides, maybe in the previous presentation. What I mean by this intake includes air, water, sunlight, food. Food is nutritious, digestible, and tasty, and waste is excretable. And all intake through our senses, sound, touch, form, taste, smell, etc. Then 1B, that is routine means rising time, sleeping. This has been explained, so I don't need to go in detail. Now I go back to my previous presentation. I think I can stop this sharing and go back to the previous sharing. Please bear with me for a few seconds. Window. Yeah, so I think this is now visible. Now this was being explained with the previous slide. Now we go into the remaining part. So what do you mean by intake is this? Food, water, air, sunlight, etc. They're very important. Sunlight is very important. Fresh air is very important. That's why it is good if you go for walking or jogging in the morning. And the morning sunlight is good for having this vitamin D. These all things are known to us. I'm not going to the details of that. To maintain health, intake of food that is nutritious, digestible, tasty, and the waste is excretable is very important. Intake of water in the right amount at the right time. And are you of the habit of taking very cold water or cold water or normal water or warm water? That's our choice. What is being said is, this has to be verified. What is being said is, if you take very cold water, it has to come to the body temperature. So when the water goes into body temperature, now it takes some energy from the body to bring it to the body temperature. So that means it has to work. Some part of energy is to be utilized for that. But if you use warm water, which is slightly more than the temperature of the body, as it passes through the body, the temperature becomes similar to that of the body. Right, the inside temperature. I mean, the body inside the the temperature inside the body. That's what I mean. So the usage of energy may be lesser by the body when we drink, say, warm water. That's just a suggestion only. It's not a hard and fast rule. You can choose. So, are we taking water during the time of your food, before food, or after food? This also is a choice. I keep it open. When do we take water? If you take water before food, let's say half an hour or 1 hour before food, then the quantity of solid food which you may take may be lesser. Right. And also, if you take water after, say, half an hour of taking food, this also is advisable. But I'm not going into those details. So, intake of water in the right amount and right time. Daily exposure to fresh air and sunlight. This we discussed already. Now, routine, I propose 2 3 things, but I go through very quickly in that. The circadian rhythm, the body responds to the solar cycle. We will discuss regarding that with the solar cycle later in the next slide. The rhythm of seasons, body responds to the seasons. Availability of complementary plants in various seasons. Not every vegetable is available in all the seasons, but so whatever is available, seasonal, we can use that. That is what is advisable. The body life cycle rhythm. In the childhood, youth, and old age, there is a change in the body stature. So accordingly, the requirement of the body is also different. So understanding of this helps in deciding a harmonious lifestyle for each stage of life. I'm not a very expert in Ayurveda, so I don't take those words like kapha, pitta, vata, etc. You can go through that. Now, when you come to this circadian cycle, circadian rhythm, now this is circadian cycle. I just brought this in just to see that what kind of a rhythm, what kind of a routine can we adopt. Just a rough estimate only, or just a rough discussion only. I mean, a precise thing can be decided by you, depending upon your work, depending upon your other practices. So roughly by the mid-noon time, the digestive fire is maximum in the body. So the intake of food can depend upon that. And between this 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. time, the absorption and assimilation will be there in the body. And so also when we are fast asleep during the midnight time and early morning time, like this 12 midnight to 2 a.m., that time, as you can see over here, the regeneration and repair by, that is, liver activation will be there. And waste removal, the body will be ready for waste removal, detoxification through kidneys, etc. after 2 a.m. So what are we doing during this time is very important. So the other body functions can be lessened during this time. That is, the body is taking rest, then the liver can work, the kidneys can work, and the waste can be excreted at the right time. So accordingly, we can make a rough schedule of ours. You can see whether it is matching with your schedule or not. So I say waking up time 1.5 hours before sunrise, roughly, so that the waste can be excreted in time, and we can have regular routine like that. Now, the cleansing time, roughly before 6 a.m. after waking up. Then breakfast as early as possible, close to, if we look at the time, that is close to 7 to 8 o'clock, right? Now, lunch time, close to the noon time, when the sun is on the top, the digestive fire is a maximum, and that may be the largest meal of the day. Then dinner time, at least 2 hours before you go to bed, so that by the time you go to bed, the body is able to digest the food partially. Maybe 3/4 digestion part is over, and the body can go to bed without any hassles. If you take your dinner and immediately go to bed, then the body may uh, develop some kind of a distress, and this may also affect the sleep cycle, right? So bedtime is approximately, say this time, as you can see over there, maybe 10 p.m. or 10:30, so that if you can sleep from that time to, let's say, 1.5 hour before sunrise, that time, during that time, because the body is a material which is aligned with the other materials and the sun cycle, it is trying to fix something in the body, like the liver activation time, the regeneration of the cells is happening, repair is happening at the time, the waste removal is happening through the kidneys, etc., so that we can excrete at the right time. So this is a rough schedule, and the purpose of bringing it over here is to help us to know that the body is a material, and the material is following the material laws. Like any other material, the plants are also materials, right? They uh, work with the sunlight. Um, they do this photosynthesis and produce food. And this work is being done during the daytime when the sunlight is available. During the night time, they cannot do that. So they also follow the laws of this nature, the laws of this material. So the body is a material, the body follows the laws of the material. And now, if you can also see, when you are not following this circadian rhythm, what is happening to the body? Like the sharing by my colleague, or rather my the participants at the workshop, that he said that when he was working during night time and sleeping during daytime, that affected his functions, his body actions, and finally he got all the kind of lifestyle diseases, and ultimately he had to switch over to a job where he can work during daytime and sleep during nighttime. So what's your choice? Is your rhythm, or is your routine aligning with this, or something other than this? Can I get some response? We may finish within another 5 minutes, and then we can have some questions if time permits. Or even now, you can have the questions. So since you are not asking questions, I'm just going on telling something, just like that. All right. So this is the circadian rhythm. Now, labor means ensure adequate movement of the body and production of physical facility. Examples are given here. We have discussed that also. Sweeping and swabbing your room, house, hostel, kitchen, gardening, cycling to your college and back, climbing up the stairs, etc. These are all equivalent to producing physical facility. That's why they are included in the labor part. Exercise, if you cannot do this labor, then you can go for jogging outdoors, weight training at a gym, exercise, cycling in a gym, uh, recreational cycling outdoors, etc. These are all kind of things. You can go for swimming. There are many other options available for us. Whatever we can do with our body, whatever skills we have. So that is also depending upon our skills. Cycling, swimming, when we say, this requires certain skills also. So if you have the skill, you can use that. Otherwise, you can just walk or you can jog. These are all possible. Anyway, the body requires this muscle movement. So it is our responsibility to ensure this muscle movements. Postures, right now we have seen this yoga practice session. We had another session earlier too, so we can go for kind of things. The purpose is for regulating internal and external body organs. That's the purpose. Breathing, yeah. So the breathing has to be regular. We follow this pranayam. So every time also we can verify whether the breathing cycle is regular or not regular. I can have a focus upon this. It is my responsibility. Now, this medicine for bringing the body back to harmony from temporary disharmony, you can go for home remedies or integrated systems of medicine. I'm not going to elaborate upon this, so you can choose. When you have this fever and associated symptoms, say, for example, cold and cough, let's say, it is possible to go to a doctor, consult a doctor, and get this remedy, some kind of medicines, and you may get rid of these symptoms or get rid of this problem within a week's time. Right. But you do this within the home, like taking rest for some time, then having some inhalation say this steam inhalation and having some say home remedies just like that, then this may take some 7 days. So the time may be same because the body requires rest for these many days. That is what the body is now telling you through these symptoms. But when we go to a doctor, then we have to swallow this some kind of pills, which may be chemicals, maybe sometimes some other way harmful to the body. So we can have a focus upon this. Now, treatments, in some very unfortunate cases, we may have to use drug or machine to perform a body function that the body is no longer able to perform. That is a dependence upon some insulin, dialysis, ventilator, the pacemaker, anything. This may be required for some patients. So when patients meet with accidents, then also we need to have this treatment, maybe in a hospital. So this is something which I wanted to discuss. And if you look at the priority which I put forth, I put priority number 1 for this, the first box number A, because that is something which I can do consistently. What is your priority? You can choose. And among that also, I have 1A is the first one. What was that? Intake and routine. 1B was labor and exercise. And 1C is postures for regulating internal, external body organs. So that is my priority. And then medicine is my second priority and treatment is my third priority. All the three things are required, but what I can do consistently is this number 1. So staying healthy, intake and routine, I can have a focus upon that, labor and exercise, and postures. Now, before we close, let us have a look at the holistic view of health. My health, the health of the body is not alone important, but I would say it is also important to have the health of the self. We may say mental health, but this mind is not just the self. Mind is only one part of the self. Mind is the lower part of the self, which is having imagination alone, but there's a pure part where the guidance can be there, where the higher activities in the self is there. So we will discuss that maybe in a different platform. So health of the self is also important. Health of the body is important. Right now, what we discuss is something regarding the responsibility of the self towards the body to ensure the health in the body and what program I can adopt for health in the body. But it is also important to have the health of the environment. That is health of the family, people in the family, society, and the nature. What do you think? Are they also important? When I say I want to be happy, being healthy, it is my responsibility to help my family members also to be in happiness. And for that, what I'm doing, I have to ensure right feelings within and share the right feelings with my family members. In my society, when I am working with people in the institution or in the society, it is my responsibility to work with the right feelings and to ensure justice in society with my colleagues, with my students, with my other staff members in the institution. Is it not? And nature, when I take this physical facility from the nature, what is my responsibility? I can see that there is inherent harmony in the nature, and my responsibility is not to harm that inherent harmony, not to disturb that. And whenever I take something, it is my responsibility to replenish that resource in the nature. Right. When I cut one tree, for example, I can plant several saplings and protect the saplings, help them to grow. Likewise, I have a responsibility towards my family, my society, and the nature in which I live in. So, health of the environment is also my responsibility. It is not just health of my body, it is not just health of the self, but health of the higher levels in which I am being part of. So, this is what I refer to as holistic health, looking at health holistically. An example as it is given here is a family has an impact on the health of the individual. A family that keeps an early rise and early to bed schedule is healthier. You can have a check with that. It's just a proposal. You can have a check with that. A family with internal strife, fighting, etc., may be more prone to illness. What do you think? Like that, I have a responsibility to help my higher levels also, society as well as the nation to be healthy. So I sum up with this. The human being is coexistence of self and body. That's what we discussed in the beginning. The self is central to human existence and the body is used as an instrument. The transaction between self and the body is only in the form of information, no material transaction. Physical facilities required in a limited quantity for nurturing, protection, and right utilization of the body. And prosperity is a feeling of having and producing more than required physical facility. So two things are important in that. One is identification of the requirement of physical facility and ensuring the availability of production of more than required physical facility with right skills, and the previous one with right understanding. So the self and the body are in harmony when there is a feeling of self-regulation in the self and health in the body. Self-regulation is feeling of responsibility towards the body for nurturing, protection, and right utilization of the body. And health is the body acts according to the self, and the parts of the body are in harmony, in order. And the self and the body, yeah, this is something repeated. So this program for health is also given here. You can have a look at that. What is your priority? So I propose the priority as for staying healthy. The box number A is my priority. Intake routine, labor exercise, and postures. And medicine is my second priority. And treatment in a hospital may be my third priority. But all the three things are required. We require the health systems. But the primary responsibility of the health practitioners is to help people to be healthy. There are regions in this world where the doctors are being offered their salary when the people are healthy in that particular region. And whenever the people in the locality are being ill, when they are ill, then it is a responsibility of the doctors to treat them without uh, taking any fee from them. But what is happening here? The other way, just I have given this an example. I forgot the name of the place, but there are places in this earth like that too, where people are being offered treatment free of cost. But whenever they are healthy, people are healthy, they offer salary or they offer money to the doctors, because the purpose of these doctors or this medical practitioners is to ensure health in the society, not just for treatment. So that is what I wanted to convey. Thank you so much for your patient listening. I couldn't get any questions so far, but if time permits, we can go for questions. Yeah, thank you.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, you can raise up.
So what I was trying to propose is a set of proposals which are in line with the human values. Human values, we see everything holistically, even if it is the harmony in the human being, harmony in the self, harmony of the self with the body. That's what we discussed just now, a glimpse of that. And harmony of the family, harmony in the society and nature. We see it holistically. So when we have harmony at all the four levels, at all these levels, then only we can say that there is harmony or there is happiness in a human being. That's one thing. You can go to the website of UHP, uhp.org.in. You will be getting so many readable things. Even the books are also available. The book which is named as Holistic Human Health is also available there. So it's a voluminous kind of a book where all these details are there. Like it's like more than 420 pages. It's a very nice book. You can have a reading of that book if possible. It is easily downloadable. It is free of cost. Or if somebody wants a printed copy of that, you can order that through online. If you go to the website, you can see how to order that through the book which is published by the UHP team. You can take that only. There may be other books which are published by many other publishers which are not from the UHP team. So you can download this or you can go for a printed version. That's your choice. There are many other books also, like more than 18 books are available in this UHP. So you can download some of them. That's available. Nice. Yeah.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, but some noise is there from your side. But please go ahead. I can hear you.
Actually, if we feel ill, that is for physical illness, we are having some medicines. What sort of medicines we have to take if we feel mental illness?
Yeah. So mental illness is disharmony in the self, I would say, in one word. And for that, I mean, in fact, today we discussed only regarding the health of the body. but I just mentioned health of the self, but that should be discussed in detail. In one line, what I could say is that if there is no contradiction in my thoughts, I'm in harmony. Whenever I have these contradictions in my thoughts, I may be having this stress, I may be going under this depression, I may be going under this ego, or I may be having a lot of other kind of anxiety kind of problems. This may be there. So for that, I had to be very clear about my thoughts. I had to be very clear about my what activity I'm having within, and that is possible through a self-exploration. So maybe we discuss that in another 1 hour 30-minute session. Anyway, so in one line, what I say is that if all the thoughts, if all the imagination within me, in myself, are in line with my natural acceptance, or they are gathered by this understanding part, then there is no mental illness. But if in case if I am going through by some mental illness, I have to refer to my natural acceptance and come back. There can be triggers also, and through the materials, I'm not able to cure this mental illness. Rather, I may be able to suppress some of the symptoms.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Any other queries?
I just wanted to. Hi, Dr. Sunilkumar. I'm the next speaker. I'm Sarala. I was listening to your talk, and I think there was a bit of overlap, and I think you've said most of what I was going to say. But I enjoyed your talk, and it was really nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I tried to put messages, but for some reason there were some technical issues. I couldn't put the messages. But yes, thank you.
Nice. Thank you.
Sir, if there are no more queries, can we wind up?
Yes, we can. There is a message in the chat box. We are earning a lot of money. Yeah, just one message. Just read that.
Okay, sir.
We are earning a lot of money, but can't say we are happy. That's not a question, just a sharing only. Yeah, that's true. With physical facilities alone, we cannot be happy. So what we propose is 3 things are required for this happiness. When we say happiness and prosperity and creativity, one is right understanding in the self, understanding regarding the physical things, physical facilities, what is the requirement part, what is how to produce a physical facility, and second thing is understanding regarding relationship with other human beings. So right understanding regarding what is harmony at all the levels, and how to interact with other human beings with right feelings, and also the assessment regarding how much is required, physical things are required, and how to produce that. These 3 things are required to be happy, but it is possible to practice that. Thank you. Yeah, just a final note. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. So on behalf of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering of Nehru College of Engineering and Research Center, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Sunilkumar for accepting our invitation. Thank you so much, sir. Your session was extremely informative and it was very useful also. So I would like to once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for accepting and giving such an informative session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Namaste.
Dear participants, we are moving on to the third session of the day. The third session will be handled by Dr. Sarala Gandhi. She's a consultant pediatrician. She's working at Lincoln Hospital, United Kingdom. So I would just like to give a very brief introduction about Dr. Sarala Gandhi. So she was brought up in New Delhi and she attended school in New Delhi. She obtained her MBBS degree from government Coimbatore Medical College, and then she went to UK and completed her MRCP in pediatrics there. At present, she's working as a consultant in pediatrics and she's also dealing with children with autism, that is ADHD. So she's living in the UK with her husband with 2 grown-up children. And I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Sarala Gandhi now. Ma'am, welcome, ma'am, on behalf of the Department of ECE. Now the session is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kirtana. I think that was a very lovely introduction. Thank you so much. And thank you for all your help in setting up this teaching and the learning. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So hello to everyone and welcome to the session. I hope you enjoy this because I think the first 2 sessions of the day was really, really exciting and I was able to look at that as well. So I'll just share my slides if that's okay. And Kirtana, will the participants be able to send messages? Because, like I
Yes, ma'am.
said,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
Vaishak sir, can you just assist that, sir? Vaishak sir?
Because I still see you can't send messages because you're not a member of the chat.
No,
Uh, s-
actually, sir has made you the presenter, so I think you can start sharing, ma'am. There's an option, you can see the share
okay, let
option
me
near
let
that mic.
yeah.
So just go to that and just you can share your screen.
Okay, I'll share the screen now. Okay,
Yes. First, we'll check that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, your slides are visible now.
can you see? Yeah, okay.
You can go for the slideshow there.
Yeah, I'm just give me 1 second.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely fine now.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Can you see the chat box?
Just give me 1 second, please. I'm sorry about this. Sorry, I just.
Okay, no issues, ma'am. So if there is an issue with that, we can do one thing. After you present completely, we can ask.
Uh-huh.
We can go for a query section. That would be better, I think.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Otherwise, if you want to talk to anybody, let them just unmute your mic and let them talk to you in between itself. That will be better.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Because thanks, Ketana. Yeah. So yeah. So like Ketana said, I think it'll be really nice if we can keep it as interactive as possible. So please do stop me anyway if you would like to add something, or if you want to ask any questions, or if you have anything to say as well. Okay. Thank you. So, right, yeah. So, like Dr. Sunilkumar said, I think he gave an excellent talk about the holistic approach of to physical health and in general health. And I would say the same thing about what his definition about well-being was. I think it was the WHO definition that he mentioned, that it's not just about being free of disease or illness, but it is about physical well being, mental well being, and social well being. So let me start with being coming from the medical background. Let me start with physical health. So, like the current situation, I'm just giving you some bullet points about the current situation. So I think we've shifted from just treating sick uh, people to giving focus on prevention. So as we know, the common saying, prevention is better than cure. So we would have all seen in movies where smoking causes cancer, so please don't smoke. So yes, so that is where we focus now.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry for interrupting, ma'am. Your
No, no.
slides are not in the slideshow mode. Can you just see
Oh,
that?
okay, sorry. Sure.
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks a lot. Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And also, compared to before, uh, when I'm in the 50s now, so when I grew up as a child, the life expectancy was very much in the 60s. But as you all are probably aware, the expectancy has now increased to possibly mid 70s now, depending on various other factors. But overall, I think that is the case now. So there are quite a few reasons why we've achieved that. Obviously, medical advancements. Secondly, the affordability and accessibility to healthcare compared to several years ago. And also the government health policies. Say, for example, things like improvement in sanitation, improvement in nutrition, school meals, housing, vaccinations. So all this help in preventing diseases. I would like to give one example here. I know Dr. Sunilkumar talked about treatment and prevention, and to be cautious about antibiotic use and medication use, which I completely agree with. I can give you an example about the sanitation and housing, which helped in one particular disease, tuberculosis. So, in the Western world, tuberculosis was much earlier abolished compared to us, and that is not yes, there is anti-tuberculosis treatment and all that, but that wasn't simply the reason. So improved sanitation, improved hygiene, less overcrowding because of better housing conditions, vaccinations. So all that improved the disease prevalence. So it is just not antibiotics alone. So yes, that is also required, but it is a fine balance. Okay, so and like I said, affordability and prosperity also has made access better. And then the health screening programs. So what I mean by that is there are the regular screening programs, such as say, for example, if there is a certain age group where there are certain diseases which are quite prevalent, say, for example, breast cancer, cervical cancer, in particular age group of women. So we have these, you probably may have heard of mammograms, cervical screening. So it is in place so that we catch the disease early and prevent it, or early treatment has a better outcome. So I would suggest that we have these routine screening tests from time to time. And also, depending on the age, say, for example, between 40 to 50, that is when our body slows down and we start to get things like pre-diabetic level, pre-hypertensive level. So just to keep a watch on that, not just to jump into medication straight away or treatment straight away, but if you know that, then that can be influenced or altered by your lifestyle. Excuse me. So say, for example, if you're identified as being on a pre-diabetic level, then you can modify your lifestyle to the extent that you can bring down that. So it is good to know where you are. Obviously, it is a balance. You can't keep going and having these tests. But say, for example, 40 to 50-year-olds, maybe once a year, and then after 50, probably. And also, it'll depend on your body, your genetics, your family history. So if there is a family history of, say, for example, heart problems or kidney problems, then it is better to get screened once a year or when you're over 40, so you can alter your lifestyle. Sorry. Any questions on this at all? So I'm not able to see the screen, so you can always, tell me if there is a question, and then I can come back to the screen and talk to you and then go back, okay? So assuming there's no question, I'll move forward. So this is just a rough idea. And physical health. So I just touched upon a few things in the previous slide. So it just is not medical. There's a lot of factors which influences your physical health. Firstly, lifestyle. I think there's no denial about that at all. There's no second thoughts about that at all. And then secondly, genetics. So yes, there are some things that you cannot influence. It is in your genes. But obviously, there are, even if you have a genetic condition, there are things that you can do to influence it and make it better. I'll go in detail one by one later. I'm just giving you the bullet points here. Sorry. Thirdly, to have better physical health, seek medical attention as appropriate. I think like Dr. Sunilkumar mentioned initially, say if you have a mild viral problem, viral illness, or mild viral upper respiratory infection, like a common cold or mild fever, you can consider simple measures at home, which I think was the norm those years. But now at the drop of a hat, we go and visit a doctor, get antibiotics. And I think I should say, although I'm a doctor, I think there is overusage of antibiotics, which again leads to its own complications where we become resistant to those antibiotics. And then we go to a higher broad spectrum antibiotics. So we go up and up and up. And the antibiotics that we used to have, simple ones, several years ago, are no longer effective or beneficial now. So, we need to have that balance of considering simple measures like taking a lot of fluid. Say if you're having a common cold, just a viral common infection, then try a lot of fluids, steam inhalation, small frequent foods. If you lose your appetite, doesn't matter, but take a lot of fluids, take small frequent food diet, don't go empty. and then steam inhalation, like I said. So all this will go a long way in improving the condition. And if you still maybe paracetamol or Calpol for mild temperature, and if nothing settles down, then obviously you should not ignore those symptoms. Then yes, visit a doctor. Similarly, if you have loose motions, loose stools, a bit of vomiting, the main thing is to keep yourself hydrated, drink lots of water. Even if you lose the appetite, have small frequent fluids or small frequent simple diets, so that you don't get dehydrated. And obviously if it is not stopping, then you need to seek help. So you need to have that balance. And again, medicine is not just science, it is also an art. So that is something that we need to be aware of. Each body is different, and yes, it is scientific. There is a lot of science involved, but there are also other things that is more beyond science. So, things can happen defying science. Okay, so we try our best. And what I mean by art is the communication with the medical team, be it nurse or be it a pharmacist or a doctor, the compassion they show, the communication, the knowledge about the condition, the reassurance. So all that is an art as well. So it's all put together. It is not just medical treatment, science, and that is it. It doesn't work that way. Okay. So try to stay positive. I know it's easier said than done, but it goes a long way. It's not easy. Immediately when you hear about, simple infection, simple cold, that is fine. But when there is something major, it is not easy to stay positive. Our immediate reaction would be panic and why has this happened to me? I have looked after my health really well. So why is it happening? So it is now normal to go through all those reactions. But once you come over that immediate phase, I think we need to think about it, and we have to talk to our trusted ones, like our immediate family. It's better to sort of, I know it's a cultural thing. Some of us like to keep it to ourselves. Some of us like to share it and get support and strength from friends and relatives. So you can do what you feel is right, but you have to inculcate all these positive thoughts to you and have determination that yes, I will be able to get through this. I have all these facilities. There are people who don't have any of these facilities. So try and talk to yourself, try and talk to people you trust, your close ones. Be positive, because that definitely helps. Okay. And avoid Google Doctor, because you get overwhelmed with all these articles and all this information. Some of it is relevant, some of it is authentic, some of it is credible, but most of it isn't. You get, and sometimes it can, although you try to be positive, the information that you get from that can drag you down, and you can start feeling upset about it. And also they give a lot of statistics which necessarily doesn't apply to you. So they might say, for example, you have this kidney problem, or if you have diabetes, these are all the complications. You have 1% of survival. I'm just saying random numbers. You have 2% chance of surviving, only 50% success with surgery. So all these statistics, but it's all just a blanket statistic. It does not necessarily need to apply to you. So even if there is a 1% survival, you can be in that 1% survival rate. Okay. So the most important thing is seek appropriate help, try and be positive, keep your lifestyle as good as you can. Yes, there are these genetic components which is beyond your control, but like I said, staying positive and doing all the right things will definitely help. Any questions so far? Kirtana, are you around?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. No, because I can't see the screen. I can only see my PowerPoint. So anybody,
it's all okay. It's all clear, ma'am. No issues.
yeah, sure.
Nothing in the chat
Yeah,
box.
any problems, please stop me.
Yes,
Or if anybody's asking any questions or putting their hands up, please stop me and I will come back.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am. Definitely.
Yeah. So if not, if there's, if I don't hear from you, then I'll keep continuing. Okay.
No. I'll be always there with you. Okay.
Sure. Thank you. Okay. So now moving on to lifestyle. I'm not saying anything that you all don't know. These are common things. But just to re-emphasize and to reiterate, because I cannot emphasize any further about diet, exercise, sleep, and being positive. So we will go through each slide one after the other. Okay. So diet. So these are all the important factors that would help you in keeping good physical health. There are much more, but these are all the main points. So let me go through diet first. So you all probably are aware, it's a common saying in India, we are what we eat in terms of our diet. Okay, so your diet tells about you. You know, there are so many phrases that emphasizes the importance of diet. Having a balanced diet is important. I know these days there are lots of nutritionists, which, yes, it is good to get their support and professional guidance and all that, but we should not forget the basics. And I know, bodybuilding and muscle building and, doing weights. And there are lots of things going on amongst the younger generation, which is absolutely fine. But low carbohydrate diet and high protein diet to build muscles, all that is fine. But everything needs to be done in moderation. Everything needs to be done in a balanced way. We cannot, I know these days, I think high protein, low carbohydrate diet is what is being advocated. But please be aware that carbohydrate is also needed. Fat is also needed for your body. There is always good fat, bad fat, good carbohydrates, bad carbohydrates, protein. So there are lots of things. So please focus on balanced diet. And you can follow. I think there are lots of diets: ketogenic diet, that Slimming World diet. So lots of diet, but the bottom line is keep it balanced. Okay, so you need carbohydrates, you need proteins, you need, if you remember the biology teaching from your school days, that's still basic and that still holds good, which is carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, high fiber diet. Okay, so I've put my second point as low glycemic food. You probably have come across low glycemic index food and high glycemic index food. So what it means is low glycemic food items are those that raise the blood sugar in a very slow manner, so that that which is good for the body. You don't because the blood sugar is maintained for a prolonged period of time in a very sustained manner. You don't feel hungry soon. So, and also the body deals with the blood sugar in a way, because some amount of carbohydrate stroke sugar which is not used turns into fat, and that fat gets stored. So that will be avoided when you use this food. So some of these examples for low glycemic food would be fruit, vegetables, whole grain. I think whole grain is quite important. I think that was a staple diet those days in India, and we've moved out of there over generations, and now I think slowly we are moving back to whole grain. So what I mean by whole grain is our millets, our jowar, finger millets, barley. So basically they have a husk which is an outer coating, and that increases the fiber content, which has its own advantages. The bowel movements, it helps with the bowel movements, constipation. So that is one major advantage. Second advantage is it does have a lot of vitamins and minerals. And thirdly, like I said, it is a low glycemic food item, which rises your blood sugar very slowly, steadily during a period of time. So I think it is good that we are moving towards whole grain. Okay, and legumes. Legumes, we are probably aware. Lentils, dal, moong dal, tur dal, all those sort of things. Okay, beans, chana dal, chickpeas, rajma, black eyed peas. So there's plenty of those, which is a staple diet, which can be used for vegetarians. Dairy or alternatives. I put alternatives because there is a move towards vegan diet. Some of them are adopting vegan diet, so they can use soya milk or almond milk, those sort of things. Okay, and dairy products like yogurt, cottage cheese, or paneer, like we call it. So all that are really good for everything in moderation. Yes, they do have fat content, but everything in moderation is good for your body. So we'll go one by one about why fat is also essential. So, like I said, protein, pulses or legumes, it's rich in protein. Fish, oily fish. I know, that there's a common saying that fish eaters, like in Kerala, Japanese, and Bengalis. So they it helps a lot, and they're quite healthy, I believe. Not just physical health. Apparently, it also helps the cognition, the brain development, and the skin as well. So, and I think it sort of justifies, because when you see in real life, I think that's what happens. And so fish is also equally good. Eggs and meat. Again, meat, red meat is quite widely used in Western countries, which has its advantage that it is rich in iron, but equally, it's got other side effects where it can cause bowel cancer and all that. So in India, we don't use as much red meat. I think red meat is pork and beef, which, like I said, all in moderation is good, but we need to balance it. So a high protein diet with carbohydrate and fat would be ideal. So fat wise, like I said, we always say fat is bad. That's not true. Some dietary fat is essential, and that is to absorb our vitamins. We need fats to absorb our vitamins. And it is also a source of essential fatty acids. As in, when you take fat through food, such as, like I said, cheese and paneer and butter, so all that, oils, so all that gets, the fat in that food fat gets converted to essential fatty acids through various biochemical reactions within the body. And those essential fatty acids are beneficial and are required to build cells, cell function, cell metabolism, so brain development. So we need essential fatty acids for all that. Okay, so, but like I said, it needs to be taken in moderate amounts. So excessive fat will be converted into fat and gets deposited in our body. So good fat, you might have heard of good fat, bad fat, and good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. So unsaturated oils in small amounts, such as, usually vegetable oils are unsaturated oils, which is good, such as peanut oil, groundnut oil, vegetable oil, sunflower oil, olive oil. So all that in small amounts is good, and that tends to help with the cholesterol. So the bad cholesterol is high density cholesterol. So this unsaturated oil reduces the bad cholesterol and increases the good cholesterol. Good cholesterol is low density cholesterol, which is good for your body, which means, like I said in the earlier point, it helps to absorb vitamins and sorry, and also have essential fatty acids. So unsaturated oil in small amounts is good. Coconut oil is comes from vegetable source. Sorry, Kitna, can I just have a quick drink of water, please?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
2 seconds, 2 seconds. Yeah, so coconut oil, I think there was lots of controversy around it. Previously, it was felt to be completely bad because it's got lots of saturated fat in it. But now recent research has showed there are some components that are good, something like lauric acid, and also I believe it has got some monounsaturated fatty acids. So it's all technical. So some components are good. So now, scientists are turning towards coconut oil, and also they have found that areas where there's high use of coconut oil, they do live longer. So yeah, so lots of research is going on. So we will wait to see. The jury is out, and we'll wait to see what is happening with that. The oil from extracted from animal sources are the saturated ones. So that's not good for health. So, that's something that you need to bear in mind. And foods with low salt, low sugar are recommended. To the extent that in Western countries, particularly in the UK, they say high salt, high sugar is a silent killer, and it's poisonous, they even say. So we need to. I think we tend to use a lot of sugar and salt. So that's something that we need to work on, and lot of fluids. I think we sometimes, particularly when we are at work, we forget to drink water. So you have to make it a habit to take at least 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. And obviously in a hot, season, and in India, where tropical countries, it'll be much, much more than that. Okay. And as a general guide,
Ma'am,
yeah,
there's a question in the chat box.
yeah,
Mr. Sri
yeah.
Kisan, yes. Parihar, he has raised up a question. He's asking that, ma'am, it is the food only which forms plaque, which gets deposited into arteries. So does it mean one should limit his food to once a day?
Right, okay. Not really, no, because we do need energy as in to keep our body functioning, and also the brain will need oxygen and energy. Lots of metabolism happens within the body, and brain needs that to keep us going, and that is derived from our food. So I would suggest, or what is recommended is the portions, smaller portions more frequently. So 3 or 4 times a day, smaller portions rather than one big portion, particularly one big portion of food to be avoided just before your sleeping time at night. So because you need to take that food and you need to be active for the fat to metabolize, so the good fat gets absorbed and the rest of the fat gets metabolized in the body. So no, I think we should have regular meals. And also they say first thing in the morning, breakfast, you need that energy for the brain to continue to work. So it's not the food that clogs the arteries. Is that what your question was? It is the
It is the food only which forms plaque, which gets deposited into arteries. So does it mean
okay.
one should limit his food to once a day?
No, okay. Okay, so it is the content of the food that matters. Yes, definitely portion as well. So as long as you're taking it in a moderate way, smaller portions more frequently, because yeah, like you rightly say, if you take lot of butter, lot of fat, lot of fried items 3 or 4 times a day, then yes, so that will get converted into cholesterol, and that'll obstruct the arteries, that'll got atherosclerosis that you call it. So yes, but then but say for example, if you're eating only once a day, and that once a day food, if it is full of oily food and salty food and sugary food, and then that doesn't serve the purpose. So rather have 3 or 4 short small meals a day with balanced diet. That is what is recommended. Does that answer your question?
Waiting for his reply. Ma'am,
Sure.
next question is from Mr. Udaya Suryan. So he
Yeah.
has 3 questions, ma'am. I'll just line it up, okay? Yeah, he has given a response, yes. Okay. For the
Yeah.
previous one you answered. Okay, Mr. Udaya Suryan's first question is egg veg or non-veg? Okay. The
Yeah.
second question is coconut oil having fat content? Okay. And his third question is iodized salt or natural salt preferable? That's it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So this is from
He's Mr. Udaya Suryan.
Udayasurian, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Udayasurian. Thank you very much. So, egg, yeah, that's a good question. I'm sorry, my knowledge about diet is limited because that's more of nutritionist and dietitians area, but I'll tell you whatever little I know or whatever knowledge I have. Egg, I, I think it is. It's not purely vegetarian. No, it's not. It doesn't come from a plant or tree or So it's not vegetarian in the strict sense. So yeah, I wouldn't say that. And your second question is coconut oil. Yeah, uh, like I said, unsaturated fatty acid is what is good for your body because that tends to lower cholesterol content, and that also increases the good cholesterol levels. Coconut oil, on the other hand, contains a lot of saturated fat, which is not good for your body. But like I said, recent research has showed that this is one source, one oil that although it has saturated fat, there are also other components like lauric acid and other components in coconut oil which have some benefits. And also in addition, not only about fat, it also has, I believe, anti-cancer agents, anti-inflammatory agents. So we don't have enough evidence at this point, but most recent research has shown that coconut oil is not as bad as it was thought to be before. And also, I think their research had shown that people who consume coconut oil do live longer, whereas their previous reports had said people who take saturated fat will have atherosclerosis, will have clogged arteries, and they tend to have heart disease and all that. And that doesn't tie up. They say areas where coconut oil is consumed, that is not the case. It is not any different to other places. So there's a lot of controversy there. Like I said, the jury is out, but people have started using coconut oil, including myself. Anything in moderation is good, like I said. So you can continue to use coconut oil, but you just have to not be you use it in less amounts, and like any other oil that you, even the unsaturated oil only in small amounts is good. Butter in small amounts is good. Just because unsaturated oil is good, you cannot just pour oil and in your food and cook. Okay. And what was the third question, Kirtana? Sorry. Yeah, I think it was the salt. It was about the salt, wasn't it? Hello?
Yeah, ma'am. It is regarding iodized salt or natural salt is preferable. That is the question.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry, can you still see my slide? Sorry, I think I tried to come out to see if.
No, ma'am. Your slides are visible. Only thing is, it's not in the slideshow mode. That's all.
Yeah, okay. Because I kept. Yeah, I'll do it again. Yeah, okay. So, salt-wise, I have to be honest. I'm not quite sure. I think natural salt, the rock salt, all that is much better than the iodized. That is my very little knowledge about it. But I have to be honest, I don't know complete details about that. Um, I can find out and you know send the information later. But natural salt, the Himalayan salt, rock salt, all that is better, any day better. Okay.
That's it,
And
ma'am. No more questions in the chat box. You can
sure,
continue
thank you.
pointing. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And Mr. Udasuran, is that okay? I mean, does that answer your questions?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. He's okay with it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So, okay, so now coming to the most recent problem, I think all of us are guilty of this. We have started using processed food a lot, uh, mainly because of the taste, and secondly, the ease with which we get it. And we are all busy now, and it's so much easier to get that food and keep us going rather than taking time to cook food. So all of us are guilty about it, but so we need to be aware that processed food contains artificial flavors, preservatives, and the main reason for all this is because to increase the shelf life of those food items. Cooking and eating is difficult, and then just to is getting difficult with the time constraints, and it's so much easier for companies and factories to do this, and so it's just the ease which has given us. So we have very heavily swayed towards using processed food. But then it comes with a big set of problems. Some of the problems I've listed in the slide. So it interferes with gut bacteria. So we do have some good bacteria in our intestines, which helps with the digestion, which helps with immunity. So these sort of artificial preservatives, chemicals, they destroy that bacteria. So then, in turn, it gives rise to problems with bowel movements, say diarrhea, or sometimes it alters the immune system. So we are prone to a lot of infections. Then it also alters the intestinal permeability, which means it causes leakiness. The intestinal wall will start leaking all the nutrients. And then that can cause rise to what is called as inflammation. You might have heard of ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. All these used to be diseases of the Western countries in the past, but now we are easily catching up. Similarly, cancer of intestinal cancer, colon cancer, all those, when I was in medical school, we hardly heard about it. Obviously, maybe it was not picked up as much in India, but now it used to be a disease of the Western country, but now I hear a lot of my relatives, a lot of our friends having intestinal cancer and all that attribute it to the change of our food habits, which is mainly the processed food. And some of the examples I would say, Coke, Pepsi, all these fizzy drinks, sweet drinks, just to make it quite tastier and to make it with a longer shelf life, they add all that contents to so that it doesn't get destroyed soon. But that in turn affects your health in a big way. Similarly, packaged fruit juice, fresh fruit juice is good, but you get all these packaged ones, packaged cake, biscuits, sweets, white bread, chocolates. So all these are health enemies, if you like. So I know it's difficult to completely avoid that, but try and restrict it. You can have it once in a while, but then don't make it a habit to have it every time. And then, like I said, the issues with all that would be allergy problems have increased in India, which wasn't previously as much. Immunity is getting, it can affect immunity, and also, like I said, increases the risk of cancer. And also, it does work in the brain. The chemicals work in such a way that it affects the chemicals in the brain. So the dopamine and serotonin, and it all interferes with all that. And that in turn has an effect on mental health. It also affects, it can cause, in children, it can cause hyperactive symptoms, poor attention span. They will act impulsively, as in they will not stop and think what to do. They will just hyperactively do things. And those are symptoms of ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So, all that can happen with processed food. Alcohol, you all know, it's got a lot of side effects. Yes, it has, the alcohol use has significantly increased in India compared to before. What was a social what was for social use before has now become very, very frequent. So that's something that needs to be worked on and taken moderately. Yes, in the Western countries they take alcohol, but then the difference is, at least most of them, yes, there are lots of alcohol misuse, but most of them take it in a very, very moderated way. But I think we tend to pick up the negative things quite quickly from Western countries. But then if they take alcohol, if they have a big meal, they also equally exercise and burn all the calories off. So I don't think we follow that much of the other side. So what I'm trying to say is, please balance between your food intake, alcohol intake, and your keeping active, exercising, and all that. And there are only certain things that we should be following from. We only should be taking the good things from other countries, and not just pick and choose what we like. Okay. So I think obesity has become a big public health issue in India now. So that comes with a lot of side effects. It is the biggest problem for heart disease. As you all know, heart problems, stroke, all that is the biggest reason for death in the entire world. Mortality means death. So that is the biggest cause for death in the whole world. It is very, very sad to see a lot of youngsters now dying of heart disease. They are healthy, and they are in the 30s and 40s, and they keep themselves quite good, and then you say, oh, he suddenly died. So I think that's a lot to do with the diet and the lifestyle that we are following. So please be careful about what we eat and how we burn those calories. So it can also cause, poor diet can also cause diabetes, stroke, and it can cause issues with mobility. When I'm sure it's common knowledge, isn't it? If you're able to keep your weight in control, you're able to move quicker, move faster, you can access everywhere. But whereas if you're heavy, then that affects your mobility, and then that again spirals down. If you're not mobile, then it causes bowel problems, it causes low mood, low self-esteem, you're not able to visit places, you're not able to socialize. So a whole host of problems happens when you're not mobile. And you're mainly the self-esteem as well. Okay, so be mindful of what you eat and how you keep your body fit. Joint problems, again, it's all interlinked. Less mobility, obesity, it increases joint pain, joint problems. Yes, arthritis can be genetic, but what I'm trying to say is what you do can influence your genetic problems, or sometimes you may not even have a genetic problem. You inflict all these problems on yourselves if you're not careful with diet. Liver problems, for example, fatty liver. You might have heard of fatty liver. Again, it's quite sad to see young people having fatty liver, as in they come for some other problems and you do tests and you find out that they have liver problem. The liver function test is all over the place, and the liver enzymes are all high and they have liver problems. But that can be modified as soon as you change your diet. If you catch it early, as you change your diet, all that will go back to normal. Okay, so don't feel I'm scaring you or I'm panicking you. All I'm saying is it can cause all this. So be aware of this, be mindful of this. So it's not that you shouldn't enjoy food at all, but be careful about what you eat, so that, and also if you're mindful of all this, you can sort of modify, and even if some damage has been done, you can always reverse it back. Okay. Similarly, obesity can also increase cancer. It's all about the metabolism in the body. We call it metabolic syndrome. So diabetes, heart problems, cancer risk, heart attack, all that those are interlinked. So we call it glucose intolerance, insulin resistance. So your body will be producing insulin, but then it becomes the insulin becomes resistant, means it is not working properly. That is because of so much of altered metabolism in the body. So much can happen because of obesity and because of high cholesterol and all that. And last but not the least, which is very, very important, because over the last decades, few decades, I think body image, we are all becoming very conscious about how we look compared to several years ago. Even now in the 50s and 60s, we all like to wear good clothes and dress and all that. So I think that that has got a very huge impact. Poor self-esteem, all this has a very poor, has got a big impact on your mental health as well. So not just physical health, mental health is also affected when you don't look after your weight and body. So I can't emphasize enough about exercise.
Doc,
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Kirtana, go on.
ma'am, Dr. Nalini Subramanian has raised a question.
Yeah.
She wants to know whether milk is good. If so, she wants to know if processed milk or animal milk, which is safer for all age groups. And
Okay.
also, she wants to know whether it leads to any allergic symptoms for kids.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Thanks, Nalini. Thank you for that. So, milk is good. It contains calcium. It contains lots of vitamins, minerals. It is good for health. Um, if say if you're happy with if say some are very particular about being vegan, if that is not the case, you can take normal cow's milk, which is absolutely fine. Again, say in the Western country, I'm sure in India also it's now changed. We get skimmed fatty milk. I would go for the middle range semi-skim milk, where some of the fat is sort of filtered, and so that'll be good. But yes, you can still have the other milk as well. But as long as you boil it and pasteurized and that's absolutely fine. In terms of alternatives for vegans, soya milk and almond milk can be used. For allergy, some children, particularly babies, they do have cow's milk protein allergy. So the protein in the cow's milk can cause allergy. So especially in the first year of life. So that is usually more common in the Western countries. In India, I have not come across as much, but yes, nowadays, because of our food habits and things, it does occur in India too. So usually they come up with a rash or loose motions, or around the mouth they can come up with little pimple sort of rash. They can have abdominal tummy pain. They are very unsettled after taking milk. So the first year of life, if it is really bad, some children will only be intolerant, that is, it's not completely allergy. So you can stop it for a period of time and then slowly introduce. In some children it is really bad and we call it allergy. So for the first 2 years of life, you can give what is called as hydrolyzed milk. So I think that is you can consult a pediatrician or a dietitian for that. So they break down the milk. The hydrolyzed milk is broken down milk. So they whey and casein and all that, those are all the components, the protein components. So all that is sort of filtered, and only the good part of the milk is given. So I think that can be bought by prescriptions, and you can ask the nutritionist and all that. But usually after about 1 or 2 years of life age, the intolerance and allergy settles down. So you can slowly introduce milk to babies. Who are allergic. So not all babies will be allergic, but the ones who have developed allergy, you can stop it. Go for hydrolyzed milk on discussing with your pediatrician or the nutritionist, and slowly after 18 months of age, 2 years of age, you can slowly start introducing milk. We call it milk ladder, which means initially you can give a little bit of milk in cooked food, then slowly you can increase to a bottle of milk or to a glass of milk. So milk is definitely good for health. That is the bottom line. So Nalini, does that answer your question?
Yet to respond, ma'am. Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Kirtana. Sorry, I'm bothering you. I'm not able to.
Not at all. It's my duty.
Sure, thank you.
I'm meant to do that. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so coming to exercise, I can't emphasize the importance of exercise. So just do what you can. I've just put it here, but don't feel pressured to follow this. Ideally, it'll be good if you can do some exercise 4 to 5 days a week. I know a lot of people in India back home, we walk every morning, so which is really good. So it's basically to increase your heart rate. It increases your. So how you know that your exercise is working? It'll increase your heart rate. It'll increase your breathing rate. You will start to feel warmer, which means your heart is getting used to it and is doing well for your heart. Okay, so don't push yourself, but please do exercise regularly. So the actual recommendation is 150 minutes of moderate intensity, which means about, say, 30 minutes a day for 4 to 5 days, every 4 to 5 days a week, or maybe 75 minutes of vigorous intensity. I've just put down what is vigorous, what is gentle exercise. So if you're doing vigorously, then maybe you can do it for about 2 or 3 days a week. But if you're doing gently, better to do it for 4 to 5 days a week. Some of you can mix. It depends on your age. I think the youngsters may want to do it a bit more. So you can mix moderate and vigorous. I'm saying youngsters because I think I keep going back to my old days because I'm 55 now. When we were children, when I was in school in Neyveli, we used to cycle every day to school. So we didn't have to go specifically and do exercise. So every morning and evening we used to do exercise. We used to cycle to school. And then we used to play in the playground at lunchtime in school. And after coming back home also till usually till 6 o'clock was the time when you come back home to study. So we used to play. So there was no exercising specifically, or there was not an exercise regimen at all. But nowadays things have changed. Yes, life has changed. So I don't want to sound like a boomer generation. I know, we have to change with times, but we have to keep hold of some of the good habits. So you can mix moderate and vigorous intensity exercise. Muscle strengthening exercise is also good. I think most of us, we do cardio. We say cardio, I think, isn't it? The running and walking, all that is for cardio. But our muscles get weak with age. So I think that is also important. And then I've named quite a few there. So muscle strengthening like yoga. We had a very, very good yoga session this morning. I think a lot of it was around breathing, but yes, I enjoyed that as well. I think Sri Lakshmi did that. So I'm sure a lot of you benefited by that. So I would strongly suggest you all practice yoga too. Pilates, because yoga, you can't underestimate the benefits of that. Pilates is also coming up now. It is also quite gentle. I mean, it seems gentle, and you don't need to have any equipment or anything. It does strengthen your body and your hand muscles and your leg muscles. So I would suggest that. And I think, like I said, youngsters will do these push-ups and sit-ups and weights. But please be very, very cautious and careful with weight exercise. Because it can affect your spine and neck and back. So please do with proper guidance. I know, you go to the gym and get some training with your personal trainer and all that, but please don't do without any guidance or advice. But all those would help with muscle strengthening, and that is important as well. Okay, so not just your heart and the rest of the body. So just to name a few vigorous exercises, running. I know a lot of marathon and 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers is catching up in India. When we go to India once every 6 months for at least a month, and I see a lot of, I come from a town stroke village, and, I see a lot, not only in Chennai, but also in my village, which is not very close from your place, which is Kumuli Kambam. So I see a lot of youngsters running, which is very, very heartening to see. So yeah, swimming, climbing stairs, skipping, martial arts, gymnastics, sports like football, badminton, all that are vigorous exercise. And for the slightly older age group, just brisk walking, gentle cycling, so all that is also good for your body. Okay. And the benefits of exercise, it keeps you healthy. Like I've told you in the beginning, if we have any genetic problems, if we have any heart problems, all that, Yes, you can still. I think I'll just I just put this as well. I think pregnant and disabled adults as appropriate. We have a habit in India where when we become pregnant, or we feel we have to be resting all the time. We should not do that. We should not. We should be sitting all the time. We should not do weights. We should not walk. Maybe walking is a bit allowed, but I can assure you, you carry on as normal. Obviously, you have to be very cautious. Similarly, disabled adults, my mother-in-law is 90, and we still encourage, and she's quite good as well. She listens to what we say. We still encourage her to just inside the house with her walker. She goes up. She just paces in the hall itself. She goes from one end to the other. So we tell her at least once or twice a day, just do that. You don't have to do anything big, but please do that. And then she also bends and lifts her body, and she follows this very thoroughly, and she keeps saying, I'm really thankful for that, because that is what is helping me and all that. So whatever you can, in UK, even for children with heart problems, we tell them, the advice is whatever little you do, you shouldn't push yourself. If you're feeling breathless, if you're feeling very tired, don't do it. And similarly, when just when you've had your food and all that, don't do that. But very carefully, please, carry on doing whatever is appropriate, and don't be scared. That's what I'm trying to say. But equally be cautious. Coming to the benefits, it keeps you healthy. So even if you have some problems, if you do exercise, say for example, you need to go for surgery for something, it helps you recover fast. And if you're mobile, if mobility is not just for socially going and visiting places, going on tours and going on trips. That is one thing. But also, if you're mobile and all that, say, for example, you've had an unexpected surgery, then recovery will be fast. And the advice is, even after surgery, after 1 or 2 days, once the pain settles, keep walking as much as you can, slowly with support, because if you're just bedridden, then obviously that will put your mood down. Not only that, it can cause complications. It can cause clots in your body, in your leg. We call it embolism. So try and mobilize as much as possible, and the earlier you mobilize, earlier the better. Even for things like, say, when you have hip replacement, knee replacement, the earlier and the more you mobilize as early as much as you can, you will see the benefits of this surgery. Okay, so do that with caution. Don't be scared. Don't be worried that the stitch will come out, or the infection will. I will get infection if I start walking. No, that is all a myth. Okay, so inactivity, we call it a silent killer. And again, like I said, don't get stuck with this percentage business. They say it reduces early death by up to 30%. That is the statistics, that is the scientific evidence, but that need not apply to you. So, but the thing is, just bear in mind the benefits. And like I've repeatedly told you, the risk for heart problems, stroke, diabetes, arthritis all goes down. Your bone density, we call it bone density. Your bone the more you walk, the more you mobilize, the more you exercise, your bones are strong. So that can avoid fractures. So fractures meaning, as you get older, the bone density, the thickness of the bone sort of goes down, reduces, and it can spontaneously fracture. It doesn't mean accidental fracture. You fall accidentally, you get fracture. That also counts. Say if your bones are strong, you may not, even if you fall, for a slight, obviously if you fall from a height, you will get fracture. Some people, even with a slight fall, they get fractures. That is because the bones are not strong. Or as you get older, in the 80s and 90s, even if you sit, sometimes your spine, you can get sustained spine fracture. So those are called spontaneous fractures. All that, it can improve. It can be better. And like I said to you, it improves your sleep as well. Mood, obviously, we've told before, and self-esteem, we've touched on that. But because you exercise, we call it endorphins. I think Sri Lakshmi mentioned that. Endorphins is something that is secreted in your body when you do exercise, when you do things that you enjoy, and that helps with your sleep as well. It helps with your body functioning as well. Okay, so lots of exercise benefits. So it doesn't mean that all of you should, I'm not saying, you have to do exercise, vigorous and thing, but whatever you can, please do it at least 4 to 5 times a day for maybe about 20-30 minutes a day. Just keep it as your regular habit. Sleep is very, very important. Again, I think those days there was not much of TV and not much of phones, so not much to do. So we all, we used to go to school, come back, do some playing, play with friends, come back, do some studying, homework, and then by 8:30, 9 o'clock, you go to bed and sleep. But now things have changed. Lot of distractions, lot of yes, they all have their advantages as well, but equally the downside is it is affecting your sleep. So sleep has become a big thing now. I think Dr. Sunilkumar also mentioned about the circadian rhythm and sleep drive. So circadian rhythm is something that is controlled by the clock in the brain, a biological clock in the brain. So there is a part in the brain called hypothalamus. I won't go into the technicalities of it. So responsible for initiating sleep. So when you're tired or and sleep drive is when you're tired or when you've done the whole day's work, like say when you're hungry, you eat. Similarly, when the food is digested, you feel hungry and you feel like eating. Similarly, when you've done a lot of work, you feel sleepy. So that is sleep drive. And then internally, there is the circadian rhythm as well. There is the hypothalamus. So when the body recognizes that you need sleep, it will start. It'll the hypothalamus has got new nerves and it secretes chemicals. And the main important chemical is, we call it as GABA, aminobutyric acid. GABA. Okay, so that is one of the chemicals that helps in sleep. So that process gets triggered. So melatonin is another hormone that is again secreted by the brain. That is another organ called pineal gland in the brain. So when it gets dark and when there's no light, the body picks up on that and sends messages through these chemicals to the brain. Through the nerves to the brain, and the brain secretes melatonin, GABA, and then the circadian rhythm and gets started. So we shouldn't. So say, for example, say you are on the screen, as in they call it screen time, watching TV, watching all these gadgets. So your brain is working and there is light coming from that. So your body clock doesn't pick up the cues, and so therefore the biological clocks doesn't start ticking. So that is why sleep is getting interrupted. Okay. So this is something that Kirtana, have I got time? Another probably 10-15 minutes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I promised to finish soon, but
It's
yeah,
okay,
I'll try and
it's okay.
yeah, I'll try and finish it as soon as yeah. Okay. So this is the now recommended hours for newborns, up to 12-15 hours, as you know. Children, we say up to 12 hours, but I think probably it's a lot less now because of all the distractions. Teenage up to 8 to 10 hours, adults 7 to 9, and as you know, as we get older, our brain cells are it degenerates, we call it. So the hormones, the melatonin, the chemicals are not as good as when we are young. So that's why some adults, or maybe even most adults, struggle to sleep, as in old age adults, I mean. So this is the recommended number of hours to sleep. So how you can help yourself with sleep is following, we call it a sleep hygiene, good sleep hygiene, following a good routine. We suggest at least 1 hour before your bedtime. Say, for example, if your bedtime is 9:30, 10 o'clock, at least by 1.5 hours before that, you should stop looking at your TV or, I know it is difficult. phone and online games and all that, your tablet and iPad and all that, but instead read book, listen to music, and sometimes some people like to have a bath or something. And that is what I mean by environment. Put some music, switch off the lights. And when I mentioned about the light, is one of the reasons why people who cannot see, who are blind, they struggle to sleep because they cannot pick up the light, and therefore the sleep mechanism is not triggered in their body properly. So that is why they struggle to sleep, similar like old age people, postmenopausal women. So there are quite a few things that can interrupt in sleep in some people, but you can help it by following a good sleep routine, putting a nice environment, and then exercise during the day, and also having proper food during the day. Avoid having a big meal or big portion of food just before your sleep time, mainly because it'll impair with your digestion, and you need bit of movement for digestion and also to burn your calories and all that. Otherwise, most of that calorie will be deposited as fat. So drink a lot of fluids. So all that helps with good sleep. Yeah, okay. And some of the effects of sleep deprivation, again, it can impair metabolism and in turn cause obesity. You might wonder why I'm bringing obesity everywhere, but that is a scientific fact, and you also can see yourselves in real life. Sleep, exercise, food, obesity all go hand in hand. Okay, and because of obesity, you can in turn cause diabetes. It can in turn cause diabetes and hypertension. Also, studies show even one sleepless night can put your body in a pre-diabetic level, and that too in a healthy individual. Okay, so that is the study they have done, which means pre-diabetic level is sugar level goes up in the it's not proper diabetes, but it is before that. So basically, your sugar levels go up, and your blood pressure goes up if you don't sleep well, because of the improper metabolism, impaired metabolism. Okay, and also children who have epilepsy, adults who have epilepsy, seizures. One of the biggest point is, say, a child who has got well controlled epilepsy because of medication and all that, suddenly after 2 or 3 years they come with a seizure, and then the first question we ask is, was the child not well? Did they have a temperature or something, or did they not sleep well? So it's got a big connection between sleep and seizures. Migraine again, all that can become worse. Immunity can go. If you constantly are sleep deprived, your immunity can go down. You will be constantly irritable because you're tired. It'll have an impact on mood, your thinking capacity, your alertness, your memory, everything will fall down. So it is not, I'm not saying just about one day. Yes, all of us will have bad days, particularly when you're worried about something or something you're going to do next day, particularly at our age when you have to submit something, or some bad news about the family member or something. So all that is understandable. But what I'm saying is, on a day-to-day basis, okay? And also partial deprivation. So constantly you sleep for 4 hours one day, then the next day you do 6 hours, then next day you do 2 hours. So constantly you build up, that will accumulate over time, and then that also is not good. So you need, on an average, for our age, as in between 30 to 50 at least, or 30 to 60 even, at least about 7 to 8 hours. Yes, some of you can manage with 6 hours. There is always a spillover here and there, but I'm talking about average. And stress, now these days, more than obesity, or at least as bad as obesity, stress is as bad for your heart and other problems. So that is, now it is coming as the topmost factor for heart problems now, okay, in addition to obesity and all that. So dealing with stress is very, very important. yoga, like we saw this morning, is very, very important. I mean, it's a very important, it's a very good way of relaxing yourself. I've put relaxation techniques. One of that is yoga. You can do your own ways of thing. Maybe you can just close your eyes, listen to the music that you like, or read a book. All those are also relaxation techniques. You don't have to do what is prescribed, or okay, I have to do yoga. So you don't have to pressurize yourself, but it is just what you would like to. Okay. Um, Again, mindfulness. There are lots of mindfulness techniques these days, even walking. Mindfulness basically means being self-aware of what you can do, what you're not able to do, accepting your limitations, and living in the present, rather than struggling with the past and always thinking about what has happened. There is nothing much that you can do about what has happened. Yes, we all will have regrets and all that, and it is good to learn from what mistakes we've done, from the mistakes that we have done, but there is no point keeping on thinking about it and worrying yourself and beating yourself about that. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't. Oh, if only that had happened. Try not to. I know it is all easy to say, but try to move away from all that. Similarly, it is good to plan about future, have some plans. Okay, if this happens, then maybe I should do that. Planning is also important, but please try not to overthink and have plan A, plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, and go on, overthinking and trying to cover all scenarios and worrying too much, because you don't know what is coming. You might plan for something, but suddenly something else might come, good or bad. Okay. You may not even expect something, suddenly will good happen, similarly something. So there is only so much you can plan, so much you can think about the past. So try and live for the present as well. And for that, you can do some mindfulness techniques like I said, listening to music and meditation, breathing techniques. I think Sri Lakshmi showed us quite a lot of breathing techniques this morning, so you can try all that. And there are a few other ways of how you can regulate your emotions when you're really, really highly charged and really upset about some things. We call it TIP. Again, this is a little bit technical. T stands for temperature. I mean, this basically reduces the intensity of emotion where you're highly, highly charged. And then once you've tried these techniques, then you can look at once you've calmed down, then you can listen to music, because there might be a time when you're so highly charged that you might not want to listen to music. All of us might have faced that in our lives. We probably will throw something, or we might have a paper in our hand, we might tear it and put it, or we might punch the wall, or you might hit your head. So we all may have done all that. So at that time, we can't even thinking of music. So, but these are some of the things you can do. And splashing cold water on your face. So I think in some of the movies you might have seen that, but it is not just a movie thing. It does work. So basically, there is a scientific basis. It's called a mammalian dive reflux. So say any mammal, when they're struggling to survive under the water, they sort of hold their breath. Basically, it's a nervous system. It triggers a nervous system chemical. In turn, the nervous system secretes certain chemicals, and that impulses and that messages goes through the brain, and the body will conserve oxygen, increases blood flow to the brain and heart. So splashing cold water does help. So, and then they say maybe you can do some exercises for 20 minutes, say jumping or skipping or just walking up and down. I think sometimes some of that we do ourselves without even knowing. We pace up and down, walk up and down when you're really tensed or when you're really stressed. All that is, our body sometimes knows what to do to adapt. So I'm just repeating what your body already knows and what you've already been doing. But all that does have scientific basis. And similarly, the breathing that we heard this morning, breathing through nose and deeply exhaling out of your mouth, and then progressive muscle relaxation, tensing and relaxing each muscle for 10 seconds from feet to head. So So until I started yoga recently, I didn't realize that was part of Shavasana. So this is something that TIPP is something that we tell our children here. And then it turns out that this progressive muscle relaxation is nothing but our yoga Shavasana. Okay. So all this sort of helps you calm down. And then once you calm down, you can engage yourself in watching your TV or taking up doing your hobby, art or coloring, painting, talking to your friends, or all that helps as well. Listening to music, because there is a lot of here they do for children something called art therapy, play therapy. So all that helps in calming them down and regulating our emotions as well, and controlling their emotions. Slowly, when they start doing that, they don't react badly the next time they get angry. So not only does it help in day-to-day life, but also over a period of time, it helps you to keep calm and deal with things better than you used to do. So try and do all this to keep yourself calm. Sorry? Okay.
हो निघाल सॉरी जाऊया ना
Sorry, I think someone's put the mic on, I think. Okay, anyway. So all along, I was, I think I focused a lot on physical health and a little bit about stress and mental health and emotional well-being. But also now just a few points about mental health. I know there's a lot of there used to be at least a lot of social stigma, but now things are getting better in India as well. So we need to be aware of what symptoms are, so that, because say, suddenly one day you might feel a bit low. That is not depression. Okay, so we need to know what exactly is awareness, what exactly the symptoms are. We all go through ups and downs, which is very, very normal. So sometimes there may not be a reason. Sometimes, most of the times, there will be a reason why, and we can work around it and make ourselves feel better by doing certain things, like we saw in the previous slide. But sometimes, we don't even know what is happening, and things like we may not want to get up and go to work. We feel very low. We feel like crying all the time. We don't feel like eating. We don't feel like having a bath, or going out or talking to anyone. So if it is really getting bad, or you don't know what is happening, even if it is silly, don't worry. Just talk to someone in a confidential way. And because if you recognize it early, there are lots of things that can be done. Like I said, cognitive therapy, talking therapy, play and art therapy. Without going down the line of medication, we can catch it early. We can work around it. And I think in India we try and at least in the past, we used to talk to relatives and friends, and we used to share. But nowadays, I think the Western culture of being private and keeping it to yourself and all that is happening, and online friends rather than actually meeting friends face to face, and those things need to be looked at. So whatever works for you. I mean, if you want to, some people like to keep it to themselves, which is fine. But as long as you're managing, it is fine. But when you think you're not able to manage, please seek help from either from a medical professional or from a psychologist or someone who you think will help. Support network is very, very, very important. Okay, so you don't have to have hundreds of friends, hundreds of family members, relatives, but even if you have one or two trusted friends who you can talk to, please do that, rather than just relying on online friends. And yes, online friends are good to have when you have a good time, when you share things. But when you're in your low, it is always good to have a support network. Hobbies, that is one thing that we all don't concentrate on, particularly. I think that is getting better now, particularly once we start in the 20s, when we or in the school, until school we are okay. And even then, most of our parents say you concentrate on your studies, forget about dancing, forget about music and all that. That is okay. But then I think once we start to go to college, and when we are on our own, we should develop some hobbies. We should maintain that balance. Obviously, we should not ignore our curriculum also, but have that balance, and also carry that all your life through your life. And I think that is getting better. So I know a lot of my friends in India now in their 50s and 60s going back to learn music, which they couldn't do when they were in school days, or badminton, or anything, even gentle sports, or maybe gentle dancing. So please, or photography, or bird watching, visiting temples, and also quite or churches, or all those sort of things. Okay, so keep a hobby when you get older. So once you retire, you can keep yourself occupied, and that helps your mental health. So what I've said about positives is, this current day and age, technology has got a huge advantage. We can do video calls now, even when you're when you're at a distance. You can keep in touch. You can phone people. You can talk to people, which is very, very good. And even when you're say in your college or in your faculty, you get a lot of resources using literature search online. You can Google whatever you want. You can book things online. So a lot of positives, and it has improved communication. And also the current generation, we have to learn a lot from them, where they are very articulate. They communicate, or, any problems. So all that is good, but equally there are quite a lot of negatives. What I'm talking is in the context of your physical health. Okay, so all this, yes, a lot of us have moved away from our parents, where they were, and we are at a far distance. So that can affect your health and all that, your physical health, your mental health, and all that. But then all this helps in keeping in touch with them, and that improves your emotional well-being, and in turn your physical well-being. But there are some negatives because of those as well. The impact of social media, I cannot emphasize how much negative impact it has, particularly on body image. People are constantly, especially, constantly posting pictures and constantly saying, I'm here, I'm driving here, I feel blessed, I'm visiting this place. So what we all need to remember is, people only post the positives. There are a lot more happening behind the scenes in their lives, which they don't want to share. So we shouldn't assume that everything is positive, everything is flowery, everything is hunky-dory in their lives. And why am I suffering? Why my life is like that? So please, don't feel that way. Everybody has got positives, negatives in their lives. Some of us more than some others. So we only have to take what we see on social media with a pinch of salt. Okay, and again, that also has the impact on body image. So rather than looking at other pictures and saying, oh, they look that, I'm not like that, forget about all that. Just focus on your body and your health. Limited relationships, like I said, because of wanting various reasons, keeping up the privacy, and people are busy, and we don't have time for others. So all that, I think, we need to work on all that. And again, those days, I think, people used to trust each other a lot, and we used to, even if you want to ask help, we used to just drop by at neighbor's house and say, I'm not able, I don't know what to do, my child is crying, can you help? But nowadays, one, we don't trust others. We only will want to go to medical people. Secondly, we also respect their privacy. So there's a lot of factors. So I'm not saying it's everything is wrong, but we have to have that balance, and we have to, if people say, if there is a grandma or someone who's living next door who is very happy to help, please do ask them. If you're struggling with your child who's not settling, then they might be able to give you some simple reasons of why the child is not settling. Obviously, if things are not right, you have to take the child to the doctor, but please, seek help. And like I said earlier, access to excessive resources, Google, what else, Bing, and all that, they just overwhelm you with floods and floods of resources. You only have to take what is good. Not everything is credible. So please, take. There are certain credible websites. So just focus on that, and don't take everything that you see there. All the treatments, because nowadays we know, I think netizens, they call it. So when you go to the doctor, ask for explanation, ask for what the condition is, ask by all means ask for all the treatment options, so you can you can decide for yourself with all the information. But please do not rely solely on this, and then that in turn, you know, it makes you not trust the medical person, because, oh, this is what I read, they said that will give me absolute cure. So we need to balance all that. So I think I've sort of covered. Is there anything, any questions? I hope you found it helpful. Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. There is a question in the chat box.
Yeah.
Dr. Nalini wants to know what are the causes for fatty liver and how to reverse it. She wants you to suggest some remedies and foods that are to be avoided.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so fatty liver, one of the main causes is diet and obesity. And obviously, obesity, I think I went through a lot of reasons why. Oh, there is a genetic reason as well for obesity. I don't deny that at all. But like I said, there are a lot more that you can do in terms of your lifestyle to contain the obesity. And so fatty liver is because of that. Alcohol consumption, improper diet, lack of exercise, weight, all that contributes to fatty liver. And if you can work on your diet, bring down your weight, exercise, then certainly early stages of fatty liver can. I exactly don't remember the percentages, but I'm from my memory, I think 20% of your say cholesterol levels or fatty liver changes can be brought down just by diet alone. So, which means when you catch it early, in the early stages, it will well be within the 20% of your diet. Obviously, if it is much more than that, then you need to look at the medications like statins and all that. But early stages, just follow your diet. Even the pre-diabetic levels can be controlled by diet and exercise. Even early borderline hypertension can also be controlled. So when you're in the early stages, try and do all this to modify your diet before you jump into medications and things. Obviously, monitor yourselves or monitor with a doctor, but with the help of a doctor and medical personnel, monitor yourself and say continue with diet if it is early. Does that answer your question, Nalini?
Yet to respond, ma'am. Yeah, she's okay with it, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Ma'am, any other questions, participants? Ma'am, can we then wind up the session?
Sure, thank you.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. So on behalf of the entire Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering of LCARC, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to you for accepting our invitation, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Your session was really very interactive and informative as well. It was like a very lively session.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Keetana. Yeah, so sorry I couldn't wind up earlier. I think I promised I'll do it a bit earlier, but I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. No issues, ma'am. No issues.
Sure.
No, not at all. It was really very informative and very lively. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I'm sure we're going to meet up once again.
Oh, thanks, Keetana. Yeah, I'm happy for you to pass on my PowerPoint slides.
Yes.
I think I keep updating. I'll send you the latest one. I'm happy for you to share it with the participants if you like.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarala.
Oh, thanks, Mridula.
Thank you, Sarala.
Yeah. Just for all the participants. Yeah, for all the participants, Mridula and I were classmates in school. Thank you.
You made it. Okay, thank you, Sarala.
Thanks all the participants. Thank you very much. I hope you got something out of this, and yeah, thank you. Look after yourselves.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, dear